This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's fate now lies with the Senate after she was impeached for a second time yesterday. Mwangaza was impeached after 59 MCAs who attended the impeachment sitting voted in favor of their ouster bid. 10 ward representatives skipped the sitting.
And this juncture, honourable members, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. And the governor stands impeached by the County Assembly of Meru. Thank you.
The governor survived a previous impeachment motion in December 2022 after the Senate declined to confirm impeachment charges. Ward representatives cited Mwangaza for 7 violations, including misuse of public funds, gross misconduct, and contempt of court and the county assembly.
We must bring back the glory, bring back the Meru County that we knew, Honorable Speaker, that was avowed and honored all over in this country and beyond, Honorable Speaker.
Public participation, if ever it was done on a wrong path, on a wrong locality. Lastly, on a question of law state, who was the public participation targeting?
She was impeached despite putting up a spirited fight against impeachment in the corridors of justice, an attempt that did not bring back the expected results. Now, Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, has removed nominated MP Sabina Chege as the Deputy Minority Whip. Embakasi West MP Mark Mwenje will now officially take over her position following his nomination by the Jubilee Party.
I guide the House as follows: that there currently exists no bar against the decision made by the minority party to replace its deputy whip. Standing Order 20A5 requires the Speaker to convey a decision to replace a whip to the House. In this regard, the Honourable Mark Mwenje MP forthwith replaces Sabina Chege MP as the deputy whip of the minority party.
No hawkers will be allowed to operate along the lanes connecting Moi Avenue in the Nairobi CBD. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja says this is because the county has a deliberate plan to revamp operations on the foresaid lanes.
There will be no walking on the road. Kutandika vitu kwa barabara, zero. That one we will not have. That one is an irreducible minimum, even for their own safety. We will not have any hawking on the roads. You start enforcing it from tomorrow morning in the streets. Hata hapo Mudhurwa, hapo bus station. If they are inside a small section, it is okay. We agree with the timings and we'll have that discussion now with them. But on the road is an irreducible minimum. Barabara ni ya gari kutembea.
Sakaja further dismissed those faulting him for targeting the hawkers, arguing that there needs to be a fair playing ground for anyone conducting business in the CBD.
But really, before those guys come, I want you to understand, you must be confident and you must be firm. And you must be fair. A rule is a rule. Tukisema hakuna hawking Moi Avenue, there is none for anyone. Hapa Tomboya tulisema hakuna, na nitasema mbele yao. There is none, no matter who it is. Usipigiwe simu na huyu ama na huyu ati tusaidie mtu wetu akue hapa. Because if you allow one person, why not the other person? Are we together? So the rules must apply to everyone. A city of order, you know what that means? It means that whatever rule is there, everyone follows. No one is above the law.
He also assured motorists accessing the CBD during weekends that they won't be required to pay for parking.
We want our people to trade. That is why nimesema Saturday na Sunday, no parking fees. Wacha watu wakuje Nairobi, tuwafungulie mahali, wafunguke hata Kenyatta Avenue, areas fulani, wauze, but in a dignified way. Tuwapange. And in this meeting, I will want Akumali to tell us, pallet, inaitwa pallet ama pellet, hiyo kitu ya kutandaza, ni size gani, inakaa aje na inaekwa wapi. Wengine wamejenga mpaka mawe, town, ati kuuza kwa mawe umeseti. It's like you're building another building. We won't allow that.
Public Service CS Moses Kuria has announced that 3,000 police officers will be recruited from the National Youth Service. Speaking in Ruaraka, Kuria said this is part of the partnership between the NOS and the National Police Service, adding that another group of 1,500 officers will be recruited to the Kenya Wildlife Services. And MSME CS Samuel Njoroge has distanced himself from reports linking him to First Choice Recruitment Agency, a firm at the center of Uasin Gishu County's jobs come. Njoroge said that he only attended the launch at the firm in his official capacity as the then Labour CS, adding that it shouldn't be mistaken as endorsement for its fraudulent activities. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 SpiceFm, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Congratulations. You've seen the hand of the Lord.
Thank you very much. I've earned another title today this morning at SpiceFM. Mama Justice, I don't mind it.
Joel in Kericho.
Salama sana Heri, habari ya asubuhi.
Salama bwana, mambo namna gani?
Salama kabisa bro.
Mambo ya Inamoi kuliendaje?
Mambo ya Inamoi, vile nilikwambia ndugu yangu, alienda asubuhi na ile gari ya kwanza.
I must have missed it.
So did I.
Even if somebody was to render you irrelevant, there is still work you can do.
Okay, sawa.
I deserve to keep you accountable. You deserve to give me a report. You don't work for me. I don't work for you. You work for me.
You like that Freudian slip? Lovely, isn't it? Thank you very much.
The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
Who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
windows
sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe. If a lion shows you its teeth, it doesn't mean it likes you.
It doesn't mean it likes you. It won't start. A liar calls as witness one who is either dead or far away. Say it in Kiswahili.
Below nininte yeninter ayu markati kadikta. You know this character called liar. He has disturbed people. So when you tell him who are your witnesses, he will take you to a place where it is difficult to verify.
For someone like me who sweats a lot, I cannot survive there. Sweating is biblical. Good. And you must blame it on Adam, not me. Because Adam messed up and he was told, now you fellow you, by the sweat of your brow, thou shalt eat.
The Situation Room. Kenya's biggest conversation.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
City, do like that.
My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Ameua panya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda. I mean, I don't know. What are they saying?
How are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What are they saying?
What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So
See?
Your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes, my name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of God.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning and welcome to Thursday. A little bit of traffic on Okoh Road this morning, getting out towards the Landis area and then through towards Kamkunji. Not much in terms of vehicles on the roads the last couple of days. One might ask, what's happening? Anything to do with fuel? Okay, well, let's see what happens as we come into Thursday. Coming off a Thika Superhighway, not much movement around now. The Pangani underpass, maybe a few vehicles trying to get through that little squeeze. But you get into the city centre and you'll be just all right. Looks like Thursday may be that smooth morning. We're going to stick around and see how that opens up. Let's talk on SpiceFM, KE on X, and keep things moving today.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
Sawa. Ni hivyo basi, kama ni hivyo wamesema sisi ni nani? Tuanze siku basi. If it is like that. I'm trying to City. There is a seat. Not after kit. Ndu, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Welcome to Thursday.
It is. Yeah. Thank you. It's warm in here.
It is.
Ish.
Yeah. They heeded our call.
It's a bit too much, man.
They took it from one end to the other.
Things will start hatching inside here. They are big. Put some colds. Oh, Jerry. Hey.
Joto.
My friend.
Jingi.
Joto iko mingi.
Yeah. Otherwise.
No, please go first with the otherwise.
I myself personally, I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
How are you, Eric?
I am fine, thank you.
Very good. Christopher, Christmas, Charles.
Yes, Elizabeth.
City.
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
You're fine, thank you.
Yes.
Very good. Please ask Eric how he's doing according to him towards you.
Eric, how are you doing?
I am doing well.
See?
You sure?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing well.
That is a good thing.
There's something behind this. What do you mean?
See, he's doing well. I mean, if a person is doing well, why must there be a tail to the tail?
Hapana. Nope.
Kuna kesi?
Niambie wewe ndio unafaa kutuambia.
Kwani kuna kesi?
What song did you wake up with this morning?
The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years.
The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. This isn't music, I know, but nonetheless.
You actually do have a very pleasant singing voice. You just don't know it. And you know how they say, psychologists say, you are your own worst critic. You actually have a very pleasant voice. It could be a good lullaby. I'd fall asleep to that.
My friend, boy.
But you know something?
Pleasant singing voice.
Weekend. Two individuals came to mind and I listened to the music. One was Rod Stewart. If we go by that standard, I have a good singing voice.
You got by Rod Stewart standard?
Yes. Croaky all along. Then there's this other guy who sings with, like Boss sing Chief of Kasav. My friend, his voice again. So
Louis Armstrong.
No. Louis Armstrong, him, thank you, sir. But the song that has been on my mind, oddly enough, for the whole of last week and beginning this week, There is, if you look at, if you go to scripture, there's a song which was credited to a gentleman called Simeon. My soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit doth rejoice in God my Savior. That one.
It's a psalm.
Yes, Nunc Dimittis.
So you've been dothing.
You know how it is.
And Wellsting.
Yes, you're going about your business, and then this thing comes to your mind. Yes, and then you remember the tune that goes with it.
Right.
And then it's stuck.
And you're in the mood to worship.
Yes, and you realize, yes.
Worship.
Yes. Worship.
And Muga worshipped. Welcome everybody to the Situation Room. Today is Thursday. We have a Justice Thursday conversation, but we'll approach it from a different angle. We are seeing all these issues on land, all right? So there is the Kirema land, there is the Portland land, there is who else? There is a Ngong Forest land. Land issues, my friend. Hey, land policies and governance. We have invited an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and a corporate governance expert, John Wambugu, to join us at 7 a.m. to have a conversation about land laws and land governance and land policies, what we're seeing in the country. All right, so let's approach it from a different angle. And then at 8 a.m., let's talk KRA. Okay, the Kenya Revenue Authority has is rolling out a tax amnesty program. Have you heard about it? Tax amnesty.
As in, all
just bend the knee and don't pay tax.
All sins and taxes will be forgiven.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you confess that KRA is the authority.
Yes.
You'll be fine.
Yes. Just bend the knee and say KRA is boss.
Yes. I apologize.
That's it. Well, anyway, we'll get to know more about it. There's a lot more than that. The Honorable CPA Kuria Kimani is the Member of Parliament for Molo constituency. He's also the chairperson of the Finance and Planning Committee of the National Assembly. He will be joining us at 8 a.m. for this conversation, the tax amnesty by KRA and government. What's it all about? What should we know? We are live streaming the show on our usual platforms on YouTube and Facebook, SpiceFM. If you're online, you know what to do. Let's hear it. Where are you? Who are you saying hi to? Say hello to Mumbi. You know, guys, you have not been saying hello to Mumbi.
In fact, this is something we need to take
by the
very
way.
seriously.
Why?
And we need to take this forward to the relevant authorities.
Ama Mumbi akuja apige city hug.
I think such things.
Yeah, Mumbi come give city a hug
We need to see
shortly,
what you look like.
and then we'll do like that. Okay? Then we'll do like that. Yego ameingia. So there's no one to do the camera.
Don't worry. When he comes.
When he comes. Sawa. 18 minutes after 6.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
16 degrees and mostly cloudy conditions in Nairobi this morning. Highs of 25 and lows of 15. We'll see highs of 23 and mostly cloudy conditions in Nakuru. It's cloudy at 16 in Nyeri with highs of 25, and 24 will be the high, and mostly clear Eldoret at 13. It's partly sunny already at 26 in Mombasa, going to highs of 32, and we'll see highs of 32 as well in a mostly sunny Malindi. It's partly cloudy at 20 in Kisumu with highs of 29, and we'll see highs of 27 in a partly cloudy Kakamega at 18. Rain showers rock in Kampala skies at 19, highs of 27 today, and it's partly sunny at 26 in Dar es Salaam with highs of 31. It's partly cloudy at 14 in Johannesburg with highs of 30, and we'll see highs of 32 in a mostly cloudy Lagos at 26. It's 23 and cloudy in Kinshasa, highs of 32 and lows of 23. We're looking at sunny conditions through Beijing, 20 degrees going to highs of 22, and 11 degrees and heavy rain in Paris this morning. Partly cloudy conditions later on. It's also raining heavily in London at 11, going to highs of 16. New York is cloudy at 16 Wednesday night, coming into Thursday, highs of 23 and lows of 13.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself.
20 after 6. Yes.
Richard Muka says, good morning, Spice. A man called The Reflex says good morning as well. Good morning, kings and queens. Kitengela iko locked. Good morning, Spice says, now appenda tu bila sababu. Allah. That's unconditionally. Okay. Tuned in from Rangao in Kajiado. Meru male politicians should stop fighting the good lady, says Evans.
Okay.
Chauvinism, misogyny, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Alex Mnai says, good morning, spicy people tuned in from Qatar. Duncan Monari says, good morning. Tuned in from Fridley in Minnesota. And David Adams is tuned in as well. Good morning, Spice. Utawala is locked. Jimmy Wekesa says, good morning. Deep State says, good morning, Power Trio. Your interview with the Kenya Power MD was awesome. Very competent guy. We need him again. Some key questions were missed, indeed. 2 hours is not a long time.
Too short.
Yeah. It was too short.
Given the magnitude of the issues. Huh?
Right. Good morning. Desmond says, my comrades, Uhanya Beach is locked in. Eric, which country in Europe did you say you went to on your break? I told Ndu and CT that someone saw you in Canada and they lengered me.
What?
Yeah.
He told us that somebody saw him in Canada and you and I lengered him.
So who in Canada?
Eric.
Canada.
There's a place I went to called La Cañada.
Bas.
Yes.
London, New York.
And there's a place called Cañada.
Cañada. Bas.
There's a place.
You see?
In my heart, and I know that it is love. Okay, there's just songs jumping out at me.
There
today.
is a song
for everything.
For everything.
to be sang.
Mashari Anjero says, good morning, Spice Team. Tuning from Portland, Oregon. Government used a lot of money to construct roads and walkways in Nairobi, and there are people cleaning. And these people claiming those are their stalls to sell their wares. Indeed. So we heard that, yesterday, the county governor, Nairobi, decided that all you people who've been selling on the pavements, walkways, out. Gerara, yeah.
But only for some roads.
Only for some.
Anyway, go on.
And he expects his people. Have motorists complained?
Yes.
What have they complained about?
That they're crowding
There's
the
no
roads. There's no road because people are selling their wares in the middle of it, literally.
Wait.
And there's just a little bit left.
You're talking about this situation you find in Okolima Market. But that road lead to Okolima Market. Yes, a good portion of that road has been eaten up.
Now he's saying that when you come to these other parts of the road of Nairobi, when you start coming from Tomboya, Nairobi of up.
No, not Nairobi of down.
Not Nairobi of Okoh down and then Mujare. If you want Kirinyaga Road, mkitaka kupandana huku juu, one on top of somebody else's head. But huku nini?
Please.
No.
Order.
We need order in Nairobi.
Unajua nini? That this issue of people encroaching on the road doesn't happen in a day. These very, very individuals we refer to as Kanjo. Okay? The Askaris. It's not as though they don't patrol those areas. They do. So instead of waiting for unsuspecting individuals into whose cars they can pounce into, they've been watching these guys encroaching on the road and film. I mean, it's something that has been happening for quite some time now.
Indeed.
So now is when, after 1 year,
it's all political.
The good governor has suddenly realized this has been happening. Really?
Well, I'm sure we'll have to talk about
Salimia watu.
Wacha tuendelee kusalimia watu. Sam Wambogo wants us to talk about inflation. CT is ready and raring to go. Julius Song. You see, there's a song everywhere. Tuned in from Migori. Says good morning. Linus Rainman says salamu kwa wengi watu wangu na wapenda sana na watakia siku njema.
Asante sana.
Sawa.
Yeah.
Tuned in from Tudor in Mombasa is where Dr. Venvik is. And Deep State says multimatums mingi leo. Okay, sawa. Good morning, my loves. Miss Gail, Metro, my loves. Stephen Masonga is awake this morning. Kader is asking, where is Addis Ababa and Mogadishu in the weather forecast? You want? We'll put, don't worry. What's the problem? Kawira Mwangaza's impeachment has nothing to do with her gender. I agree. Hello from Helsinki. Helsinki is in Finland.
It is.
Yes.
It's not Sweden.
Helsinki.
It can be in Sweden also, if you like.
Finland. Yes. Finland.
Ian Nalika says, good morning, listening from Rosemount in Minnesota. Jockey says she loves the morning with us. That's great. And Alex says he also has a good singing voice. Sing, my friend, sing. Everybody's tuned in this morning. Jackson and Goy is tuned in from the beautiful hills of Saboti in Trans Nzoia and says good morning to everybody. We can see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us already. Karibuni sana.
Haya, City.
Yes, please.
Fanya namna hiyo.
Right. Where is that thing? Yes. Okay. Unguja. Right. I almost started in the English language.
Okay.
Asifuye mvua imemnyenyea.
Ati what?
Asifuye mvua imemnyea.
Yes. Yeye ambao nasifu mvua kushanyesha kwa yeye. That is what it means.
Asifunye what?
Yeye ambaye anasifu mvua. Huyo mvua amenyeshea yeye.
Aisifuye mvua imemnyea.
He who praises rain has been raised on.
Has been raised on what?
Rained. Slip of the tongue.
Oh, sorry.
Headlines.
On the front page of the Standard, they said the president is flying. He's been called the flying president. President William Ruto has a penchant for flying. So great is his love for travel that it appears he cannot pass up any opportunity. So far, he has been abroad 38 times, even as back home. Even as back at home, little seems to be moving from the university funding crisis to the high cost of living quandary. So, flying president, and there's that thing,
Standard wameamua violence.
I'm telling you, napapema asubuhi. So, they've shown Nairobi, and then the lines. You know how they can see where an airline goes?
Yeah. He's been all over.
He's been everywhere. So it's interesting to
38 times.
He's traveled 38 times, and they've listed the countries where he's gone a number of times, and the countries where he's visited one time. And even as we speak, amerudi kweli
kutoka Saudi Arabia. Hata kama hajarudi atarudi tu.
Hakuna shida. Na tena ataenda. So we look at that. We're also saying pressure mounts on government to pay varsity funds. There's a problem here, you guys. I keep saying this. Fundamental problem. So it's not pre-primary, it's not primary, it's not junior school, it's not senior school, it's not university and tertiary. Everywhere you look, it's hitting you in the face. Maximum blows. We'll look into that story. Mwangaza has been shown the door again. She was impeached by a majority vote from the House, from the County Assembly of Meru yesterday. And so, as is the case, it goes to the Senate for this trial, and we will see whether the Senate will convict or hold a second time in a row. On the front page of The Nation, there he is in all his glory, the head of the NIS, Nuruddin Haji. It has been revealed that he's been a busy man. Since his appointment in June, the former DPP has been working on crafting a spy agency that is more responsive, effective, and aggressive in securing the country's interests. And this has come with both structure and personnel changes, including the agency's first female deputy spy chief.
Spy chief?
Yeah, female. And a woman. Now, you know when they say when it rains, it does what? It pours. Demolitions, we saw them a week ago, and it was devastating. We've been told that there will be more in the coming days. One woman is caught up in both her houses going down. The ones went down in Mavoko. She also has a house in Jiru that is also coming down. How terrible can it get? We look at these details of that. Speaking about another woman who is not having a very fun time, Jubilee Wars, Uhuru's faction has had the last laugh as Sabina Chege loses the House post of Deputy Minority Leader. She's out.
How? How did that happen?
So she was ousted by her party. Party said, we want somebody else to represent us. And they put somebody else and told her, Auntie, come. Just wait first. Sit there. Somebody else sit here.
Come here, sit down.
Yes, please. And you come and be going. You come and sit down like that.
Right.
Unanimously, it entered. So
Unanimous. How many people?
It was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
I should stop asking these questions.
No, it was
I have been told it's unanimous. It means
take it like that.
Majority.
Thank you very much. City School shuts down due to tough economic times. We did see that. Very tough to see. And approve police mission to Haiti. MPs are now being asked. Real fast, real quick.
Real time.
Members of Parliament are telling my friends at KNEC, you must do something to curb exam cheating. We also saw yesterday that they said that these exams already have revised questions. It's questions that have been on exams before. So what's going on at KNEC? They've been accused.
Can I just comment, please?
Please do.
Has the syllabus changed significantly since last year?
No, please.
Okay, so don't they realize that there's a limit how many questions you can actually ask?
You know what they're trying to say inadvertently is that there is a repetition of questions. So that means that the questions
This is members of Parliament. Members of Parliament are saying this?
No.
Who's saying this?
A faction of teachers.
Wameonea maswali wapi?
Hiyo ndio swali sasa. You know why? Now you know what they're
They
saying.
should help with investigations.
You know how you want to shed the light on something, but the light eventually now comes and does what?
And sheds itself.
Shines on you. So anyway, we'll look at details of that.
Shine a light on me.
Hide it under a
Business Daily. A Kenyan who had 1,000 shillings to spend in October last year can only buy goods worth 850 shillings today due to inflation, a weakening currency, and taxes, among other factors that have conspired to erode the buying power of the shilling. That's the headline. 1,000 shilling buying power dips to 850 in 1 year. Other headline, NSE retail investors are dumping shares and going for treasury bills. Other ticker headlines. Pakistan tops Kenya exports market outside EAC. ABSA CEO shakes up top brass 6 months into appointment. Hiya. ABSA Kenya has announced changes in its top leadership structure, marking the first shake-up by Abdi Mohammed 6 months after his confirmation as the lender's chief executive. City Hall now bans hawking in CBD streets. Sini sawa basi. Sini sawa tu. City, the Star.
Top right-hand corner in Till Green. Official obligation. Chelugoi, I have no link with Qatar job firm. Was just doing my job. Remember that story yesterday where he was linked to the immediate former governor of
Wasingation.
That, yes. So he's now saying, sorry, no, my job requires I do certain things, and that which you are referring to falls under my docket. So I was just docketizing whatever I'm supposed to do. So please, do not impute nefarious activities on my behalf. Please. Okay? Right. Lost ID lands man in jail for crime he didn't commit. Be careful where you keep your identity card, who sees it, and when lost, make haste to renew it. Okay? Yes. There's a guy called Muli Musimi. He learned the hard way, spent 10 years in jail for a crime. It turns out he did not commit. Someone stole his identity card in 2012, used it to register a Safaricom SIM card and sent 100 shillings to it. The person whose identity is not known for doing was part of an armed gang in Syokimau that robbed EKN, an M-Pesa shop attendant, of 132,000 shillings.
Man.
Right. Jubilee is party and Chege is its whip rules speaker. Now, same thing that you said. Oh, is it? Right. It was a big win for nominated MP Sabina Chege.
So here's the story is the other side, eh?
This is the other side of the story.
After Speaker Moses Wetangula declared Jubilee a parliamentary party and handed her the powerful whip position initially. Parliament only recognized Kenya Kwanza and Azimio La Umoja as majority and minority in the 13th Parliament. In an afternoon communication, the Speaker gave Azimio its way on the change on the minority side and elevated the status of Jubilee's splinter group in the August House. He ruled that Mark Mwenje replaces Sabina Chege. So it's not really different.
So,
Same thing.
Mark,
So what was
Mark
our headline?
Mwenje is deputy for the minority side,
Yes.
Azimio.
Yes.
But then Wetangula says, but I know Jubilee is a party, and it has members in this parliament.
So whip.
Sabina will whip them.
Sabina, you are whip.
You whip Jubilee.
You'll whip the Jubilee people,
But
Kina
on-
Kainan, Kina Nani.
Get them in order.
Those who are
But on the list, we know that the deputy minority leader is
minority whip.
Mark. Whip, sorry, is Mark. But we know
You.
that just
Okay.
unofficially.
Right. DPP gets more time to review charges in Savula theft case.
Somebody stole Savula.
No, he's intact. He has not gone anywhere. Neither has he been misplaced. Okay, DPP Renson Mulele, this is a gentleman who recently got this job, has been granted time to review charges against Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula and others on the 122 million government advertising agency theft case. When the matter came up for hearing yesterday before Milimani Court, Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina. Right? So he's having what you call a look-see.
Okay.
Yes.
24-7. Let's look see at traffic.
All right, we're getting closer to 7 o'clock. Let's see if we're packing up any activity on the roads this morning. Interesting that we just see a little bit of movement on the Thika Superhighway coming through towards the Pangani Underpass. Before that, you're not going to see much of anything. Where is everybody? I know it's not December yet. Kiambu Road, some movement getting towards Muthaiga Square, but that's just about the size of it. Coming off of James Gishuru, maybe it's still a little bit early to see anything there. And on Wayaki Way, through and through to the city, you're fine. Uhuru Highway is also clear. If you're on Mombasa Road, let's say coming in from Cabanas, you're going to get through to the city real quick, even if you're not going that fast. All right, on Njoroge Road as well, a little bit of movement, but we're not seeing anything alarming. Not now. We're probably going to see an easy Thursday. Let's get through it safe. Let's talk SpiceFM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice.
The state, they're saying the state is under pressure to do what? Sorry, the pages are refusing to turn. Over this university funding. So we saw the other day, they said, okay, you know what? Presidential Working Party had come about to say that everybody would get a bit of a loan and a bit of, funding, whatever the case, if you're very needy, what, okay? That changed in terms of categorization. And then we saw that, look, everybody's going to have to bring something from their pocket to cater for school fees. Now, pressure is mounting on the government to release capitation funds for new students to avert a crisis in 16 public universities. University heads are reporting a possible crisis over the delay in disbursement of government funding to new students admitted in September. We're going to November now, and that money has not yet been released because it is capitation. Capitation doesn't just occur at the lower levels for education. Vice chancellors representing various universities highlighted the dire situation that they are currently in. They said they admitted thousands of students without the financial backing that they were expecting, leaving their institutions struggling to maintain day-to-day operations. The severity of the issue was demonstrated when teaching and non-teaching staff at the Technical University of Kenya staged a demonstration demanding delayed salaries. The University and Academic Staff Unions, WASU, voiced their concerns, emphasizing that staff had not received all of their September salaries. En français, tu sais, prendre un numéro. Take a number, because the line is very long. If we look just at high school, secondary school, if we look at schools generally, capitation has not been received for quite a number, and we're looking into the year. We're seeing the same thing happening. At the time when this funding model then had been introduced, and we're being told that some money then would come and that nobody would be sent home. Remember, everybody come to school. We're going to be accepting of everybody. There would be some money that would come. Universities are saying, how are we going to do this? How are we actually going to do this? Keep them in school for housing, keep them in school for feeding, keep them in school for learning, pay our staff. How are we going to do this? Where is it going to come from? They came into the new semester in September. We are going to November, and then schools, universities will close at the end of November. What are we doing?
Eesh. This whole thing is just crumbling, and I don't know. The Minister for Education does not inspire confidence at all in the way he's handling this. Neither are his principal secretaries, not the one for basic education or the one for higher education.
Oof. Eric, there's a lot of discussion about the teachers. Do you hear discussion about the students?
Not much.
What do you mean? It's like sheep that have been corralled. Just wait here
Yes,
first.
because unions exist because teachers exist. Teachers exist because they're students.
Yes.
So, all these discussions, you read it, it's about pay the examiners, examiner this, teachers this.
Meanwhile,
Yes.
can I just give you two more stories that are just
No,
in
please.
one? It will be very quick.
Yes.
Examiners, invigilators, supervisors for the upcoming exams, which start on Monday, have repeated this thing. You know, they said last week, this allowance that you people want to give us, it's yourselves you're paying, because we are not coming with that kind of money. So you people better arrange how you're going to do it. I cannot leave where I live to then come all the way to a center in Boisanga Girls, and then you pay me this amount. It's not going to happen. So fix that thing. You people didn't answer them. Yesterday, they came out again and they said, excuse me, we had told you people that you fix this allowance or you will invigilate yourselves. Now, that's story one. Story two, connected with education. Members of parliament have now said to the Examinations Council, you must do what you must do to curb cheating. We're getting into exam season because the grade 6 will sit the cumulative test, class 8 will sit the last KCPE, and then form 4s will sit KCSC. Mashogu, who we are saying does not inspire confidence, has now been told, please do what you need to do, you and the Examinations Council, to make sure that we do not see cheating. They expressed concerns that cheating had become a norm in national exams, thereby eroding the value of academic certificates. Among the issues the MPs want fixed in order to tame cheating include payment of examiners and security officers manning the exams in time, disbursement of exams, or rather disbursement of school capitation in time, to ensure the environment where exams are undertaken are well equipped. So can you see now how all of these things bleed into each other? They're saying in order for us to guarantee an authentic exam period that has agency, can you make sure that you do 1, 2, 3 when it comes to now payment of facilitation, making sure that these invigilators and supervisors are paid on time and paid a worthy wage? Can you see? So in order for us to make sure that this thing has happened, you need to have done this. And have you done this? You have not. So problems galore.
You know, I'm just thinking. Twice in a week, the Standard has put, big headline on this issue of university funding, right? Which, of course, it deserves as much publicity as it gets. But I'm also balancing it out with how much of this level of publicity have we given to junior school and to secondary school capitation. Because capitation has not been sent to schools.
It has not.
I mean, in terms of funding, what is basically clearly said, this is free education, which means that the government is financing this education 100% in public schools. It's not happening. It's not happening in day secondary schools as it should be. It's not happening the kind of support that should be going to public secondary schools. But we don't seem to give it so much focus. And I'm wondering, are we being elitist here? Is it because maybe the children of, our journalists, our editors go to private schools, and then when they go to university, that's when all of us meet in public universities, and now it becomes, oh my God.
I think there's an element of that there. I would say yes to an extent. But then also, look, I think shining the light on what is actually happening, it is not a good situation. Remember, this was the first year of junior school that we had, the first cohort, which is now going to grade 8 next year. They did no learning. Forget about private schools. Put private schools aside. In the school system, under Ministry of Education, there was no learning that happened in public schools for grade 7 between January and April. Why? There were no teachers. curriculum had been established, but were there books? No. They started being distributed in the last week of term 1. In the second week of term 2 is when we saw the final bunch now starting to get to schools. This is what we're talking about. Capitation that was paid in term 1 was going to pay balance of term 3, 2023. 2022. Capitation that finally came in July, which was the last money that came out to anybody, was sorting out term 1 and then now finishing a bit of term 2. Term 3 capitation is like oxygen. We didn't see it, but we kind of know that it's there floating somewhere. What kind of learning took place this year? Teachers are teaching. One teacher is teaching how many streams? We saw it here. And that's the situation. Not being sensationalist. This is the true picture. These are the students who are going to these same universities in some few years that we're talking about where there is this big problem. What are you feeding into the system?
There's a big issue here.
There's a big problem.
There's a very big issue in our education.
Consider yesterday's papers. Headline in the Standard, University fee shock, correct? Right. Star, CS, Chilugai and Mandago linked to job scandal. Okay? Has to do with education. Business Daily is business anyway, but them say Ruto eyes billions in Saudi Arabia, carbon credit, the other side. Nation bid to raise school fees. That's what they mentioned. Now, what I seem to not understand, if I may align it to what you're saying is, do they think that when you say there's a bid to raise school fees, you're actually talking about students directly? You're not. You're talking about amounts and you're talking about the burden it is to parents. Okay? But this individual, this Kenyan called a student, a school-going child, I've been scouring through these papers even the day before. The plight of the student does not get prominence. And in the absence of the student, this bid to raise school fees, what are you raising school fees for if there are no students going to school? Why are you hiring 15 choppers to lift KCP papers if there are no students to sit for this? Everything around the student is talked about except the student and the plight that the student is actually undergoing. This issue of school fees attempts to talk about the parents and all the parents may be going through. And we, ourselves, as a Standard, seem to have followed this very, very merry.
But if I ask a simple question,
yes,
and I would really love to be in the presence of CS Njoroge, why has capitation not gone to schools? Why? If at the very basic minimum, send them money. But let's not even talk about hiring of teachers. Let's not even talk about curriculum establishment, all of those things. Why has capitation not gone to schools? Why? There was a budget. Education gets the bulk. Why has capitation not gone to school?
You know, again, who suffers when there's no capitation?
No.
Students.
The students.
Yes.
But let me ask this question, because this is something that has been lingering in my mind and it bothers me. They will claim they have not received the money. Is this a trend that we see in every ministry in this government, where the monies that are supposed to be theirs by right and the monies that they are supposed to have to ensure that their functions are accorded in the manner that they were planned to? Are we saying that ministries also don't receive monies when they should?
No. It is not a priority.
Okay.
Hey. Now this one is a big one.
And imagine the students do not see this. You know, they live here also. They can see the priority that we're giving them. And they can see where, in the list of things that are supposed to be priorities, they can see exactly where they fall.
Yeah. Start story on page 10 of The Nation today. It's about a woman called Christine Lorna. In a span of 1 week, Miss Lorna's investments built over 2 decades have gone up in smoke. What with the recent demolitions that took place in Okoh, Machakos County, and a court ruling ordering squatters living in Njeri and Embakasi East, Nairobi, to vacate by December or face forceful eviction. The Nation caught up with her at her home in Njeri, where she has narrated how she was shocked to learn that the parcels of land that she had in Mavoko were not genuine and that they belonged to Portland. Thousands of homeowners and other private developers saw their properties demolished. In another blow, the mother of four is amongst 1,000 squatters who on Monday ordered to vacate a piece of land owned by the family of deceased billionaire Gershon Kirema. She says, I cannot believe that in the next few days, I'll no longer be here because I was duped into purchasing land that belonged to someone else. How I wish they, the Kirema family, would just give us a chance to agree on payment as long as they allow us to keep our homes. According to her, when she bought the land, she was advised to start building a house immediately to keep potential land grabbers at bay. Did you also see the video that was circulating of the leaders of the Aimimalu Kenya? Shamba sio title, shamba ni nyumba. Shamba ni nyumba. Ujenge nyumba. Ama tukuye It's the same thing that Moslona was told here. She was told, shamba sio title, shamba ni nyumba. She was advised to start building immediately so that grabbers don't come to her land. Okay?
She wasn't aware she was actually talking to a grabber.
Oh, yes. At the time, I was living in Kariobangi in a 2-bedroom house, and the idea of owning a home excited me. I immediately started construction. She's appealing to the Kirema family to sit down with homeowners and discuss an amicable solution. She says she took loans to build her house and moved in even before it was complete. She's been furnishing it slowly. I only completed building the kitchen and the bathroom fully. This house did not have windows. You're seeing I placed the carton boxes there. 2 weeks ago, she also lost 4 parcels of land that cost her 1 million shillings to buy in Mavoko sub-county in Machakos. In 2019, a close friend had put up a post on social media narrating how he had bought land in Mavoko, and she also got interested. Having spent 1 million shillings to buy the properties, Ms. Lorna termed as unbelievable the fact that she no longer owned the plots of land. 1 million shillings gone. I'm really disappointed. I had invested a lot of money. According to her, before she purchased the land, she shared the information with her husband, whom she said did not appear to particularly be keen on this issue. But she did not lose hope and decided to go ahead and purchase 2 pieces of land at first. When she saw that the payments were manageable, she decided to add 2 more parcels of land. The sellers did not pressurize me when I was purchasing the land. They gave me a payment plan that was manageable, and for that reason that I decided to add 2 more plots. Asked whether she carried out a search before purchasing the land in Mavoko, she said everything was okay until she heard of the court ruling.
She didn't answer the question, did she?
No. She said that life was really hard when she was growing up, and one of the reasons that she decided to invest in property was to ensure that her children do not go through the kind of life that she went through when she was growing up. I'm the only child of a widow. My father died when I was 7 years old, and life became very difficult for my mother. My mother had to go back to her parents' home, and that's where I was brought up by my grandmother. She used to work as a farmhand to raise money to buy books and school uniforms. When she came to the city, she got a job as a salesperson and used her salary to enroll at a college where she studied human resource management. Lorna says that the only parcel of land that she now has left is 1-acre plot in Moy's Bridge in Tanzania, which she purchased for her mother. She's really worked hard.
She did. You know, something that I've been pondering over with regard to these land issues. What is it that charlatans such as the ones whose names keep appearing, what do they prey on? Do they prey on the ignorance of the buyers? Do they prey on the ease with which Kenyans want to believe things can be acquired? What do they prey on? Do they prey on this need we have, this visceral need we have to own land and to own property?
I think it's a combination of all of that, and then it's fueled by personal greed. And it's also then flanked by bad manners. Just doing the wrong thing and having a penchant or desire to do the wrong thing. It's all of that. That you know that people are desperate to own a piece of land because it's, it's the currency with which you will now stand and say, I'm somebody. And there's also ignorance. These criminals are not unaware that people are unaware. Ignorance is something that people prey on all the time. But then all of this is fueled by the need to have a little bit more for yourself, so you're ready to do anything to get it. It's a combination of all of those things, and it's quite unfortunate.
It's really sad. The people are, people have lost a lot. And a woman such as this one, well, yeah, we can say there's all those ignorance and all, but this is it. There's somebody who the best they know is, let me work hard, let me look for money. Let me start putting it somewhere. I'm investing in purchasing a piece of land, and look at her story. I was brought up by a widow. I was brought up in my grandmother's house. I want to build something for my mother, so let me put up some money and build something for my mother. Then let me now build something for myself. Let me grow my wealth. And you're being preyed on by somebody who comes and tells you, Shamba ni sawa hii. And even though we say, you should go and do due diligence and this and this and the other, there's still some criminal activity that's...
You know what actually confounds this situation is that these criminals did not begin and stop by just selling you land. They ensured that they had accomplices in the Ministry of Health.
Yes, of lands.
What did I say?
Health. You're thinking mafia house.
Yes.
It's okay, I understand why, but carry on.
Lands. Because when you have such a scheme, my friend, you'll be duped.
Yeah.
Because people actually trust that when you conduct a search in the Ministry of Lands, it's authentic. They're not going to second guess it and say, no. As far as they're concerned, they've done a search.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What people, what have they said? Nilienda. Na niliona.
Nilienda nikafanya search, nikaniambia iko sawa.
Nikaniambia iko sawa. Where else, surely, even you, if you go to the place where the thing is vested and it is telling you, why would you doubt it?
I remember once there was a piece of land. Well, two pieces of land actually. I had an interest in buying in Riyadh Hills in Kisumu. My saving grace was that I happened to know someone in the lands office. So when I went to do the search, he gave me the cheat saying everything was authentic. Then followed me out to say, Danny, you forgot your pen. I had not forgotten my pen, my friend. There are already 4 titles issued in this same thing.
What?
Good Lord.
Now, not long after that, that entire department was overhauled. Entire. So well by entire. Everything. Meaning, there was a full-blown scheme where a piece of land could be sold very many times to someone who is unsuspecting. And one doesn't read of it, but it caused a lot of problems then. So, and
it's a powerful cartel. That would make something like that friend of yours to initially do what he is.
He did what he did.
Supposed to do according to the cartel.
Yes.
Give you the cheat that says this thing is clean.
And you walk out saying, okay, this thing is okay. Therefore, you say, hey, you forgot your pen. Told me, guy, that thing don't.
Don't. It's not.
Now, that entire, meaning that whole lands department was dismantled completely as a result of that. Now, by the time an entire department is being in a major town like Kisumu, what do you think they had actually seen? What do you think had happened? They must have touched a very sensitive...
Oh, yes.
Somebody who had might, had received the short end of this particular stick. Now, that was then. You're talking close, 10 years ago? Now, what do you think happens now?
It's just crazy. Anyway, let's have that land conversation in the next hour. We'll be joined by an advocate of the High Court of Kenya who will come. It's just madness. It's madness what happens. And many times, we'll hear, maybe this advocate will also tell us the same thing that we hear. Lawyers will tell you, use an advocate to go and do this. For a woman like Lorna, 300,000 shillings is what you have.
That is it.
Any other cost is an added cost. So I will do the job myself. And in wapi Athi House? Nitaenda mimi mwenyewe Athi House. Just to cut on the costs. I have the time, I will go, I can read. Oh my God. Anyway, good morning, 7 a.m.
spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire Dennis Aseto. National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has tasked the National Assembly Administration and Security Committee in conjunction with their Senate counterpart to jointly consider the National Security Advisory Council memorandum seeking clearance to deploy Kenyan police to Haiti. NSAC requested approval from MPs to send the multinational security support mission to the troubled nation after the memorandum was approved by the Interior Cabinet Secretary and the Attorney General.
Request by the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and the National Administration is rightly in order and submitted for consideration by Parliament. Pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 2002A, I hereby refer the memorandum to the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security for consideration. The committee is required to consider the memorandum jointly with the relevant committee of the Senate and submit its report to the Houses of Parliament on or before 8th November 2023 to allow for a timely disposal of this matter. Thank you.
National Assembly Minority Leader Pio Andai had opposed the consideration of the matter for approval by the House, saying Article 240 subsection 8 of the Constitution allows MPs to second deployment of police forces and not services as envisaged in this case.
We have got no capacity as a House to authorize or purport to authorize the National Police Service, which is not a security force, as contemplated under the Constitution. So I want to plead with you, before the matter is seized of by the committees, the relevant committees, that you do reconsider the message.
The Honorable and I has clearly misread the Constitution and misdirected his mind, because under Article 240 is very clear. The National Security Council consists, among others, the Director General of the Police.
Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, however, says it's important for Parliament to go through the request as they are the representatives of the people.
We never appropriated any resources to deploy forces outside of this country other than what we approved for the Kenya Defence Forces in the DRC. Therefore, if we are deploying our police service to Haiti, who is going to pay for the bill? I am waiting for the committee to deal with that question and tell us.
Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni has disagreed with National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula for alluding that Jubilee is not an affiliate member of the Azimio coalition. In an interview with KTN News, Kioni says and strongly opposed Wetangula's statement, saying that he, along with some leaders in the Kenya Kwanza government, want to benefit from destroying Jubilee Party.
Wetangula is trying to he's trying to find out how much he can, create room for the Kenya, the party that he is a party leader, and he is using Jubilee as a guinea pig. But some our members have been, taken through that route naively.
Kioni has also said that Wetangula is violating the court order by recognizing the leadership of nominated MPs Abinashage in Parliament.
Wetangula moving ahead to recognize anything communicated to him other than from what the High Court said, that officials of the party are as were contained on the 22nd of March 2022, and the official spokesman and the person who had those correspondences within the party is the SG.
This comes just a few hours after Wetangula announced Embakasi West MP Mark Mwenje as the Deputy Minority Whip in the National Assembly, as well as naming Sabina Chege, who was holding the position as the leader of the 20 Jubilee members in the National Assembly. Now, the long-drawn battle over the Deputy Minority Whip slot in the House took a new twist with the designation of Sabina Chege as Jubilee Whip, even as she ceded the Azimio coalition mantle to Mark Mwenje. Speaker Moses Wetangula, while allowing Mwenje as a member of the Jubilee Party to assume the role after nearly 5 months of waiting, directed that Chege would whip the party's membership in the House since she enjoyed popular support. And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has asked Kenyans living abroad to invest in treasury bonds and bills, assuring them of security of the investment and better interest. Speaking in Brussels during an interactive session with Kenyans living in Belgium, the DP said the government had made it easier for them to buy the bonds and get better returns from these investments. The DP said Kenyans will earn the interest the government is presently paying foreign lenders for their money. The Deputy President is in Belgium to present President William Ruto during the Gateway Summit hosted by the European Commission. I'm Dennis Aseta. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
Okay, so still coming through past 7 o'clock, movement here and there, but nothing too alarming. You're not going to hold up for too long. Coming past Survey on the Thika Superhighway, there's some traffic there and it's bumper to bumper through towards the Pangani underpass. That looks like it'll be a thing for a while. And also on Kiambu Road, there's traffic. It's coming through towards Muthaiga Square. Muthaiga itself, traffic in from Limuru Road, and then as you come in from United Nations Avenue, Rossland Village Market, even from Gashie, traffic everywhere. And then we're touching on James Gishuru spilling over towards Waiaki Way. And as you come in also then from Naivasha Road, Gitanga Road and through into Lavington, you'll see some movement. Langata Road looks good. For now, we're going to keep an eye on things and see how they develop closer to traffic hour. Jogo Road is also looking busy right around that Makadara train station as you head out towards the CBD. CBD in and out without an issue. And as we get into traffic hour, let's see how this all opens up. How about you help us out, folks? Let's know what's going on where you are. Let's talk SpiceFM KE on X.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up.
It is
not
7
down.
minutes after 7. Good morning. Welcome to the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room. We are on SpiceFM, KTN Home, and on YouTube and Facebook. We're here every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. This Sunday, we'll also be here. Well, not here. We'll be at Uhuru Gardens, where the 20th edition of the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon will be flagged off. People will be running. Running. Let me tell you the times. Those who are participating, who have registered and are willing to participate in the 21-kilometer wheelchair run, it is going to be flagged off at 5:45 a.m. So be there by 5 a.m. Those who want to participate in the 42-kilometer run, it's going to be flagged off at 6 a.m. Get there at 5 a.m. 21-kilometer run starts at 6:30 a.m. 10-kilometer run starts at 8 a.m. 5-kilometer run starts at 9:30 a.m. Registration closed. Running happening. All of it Sunday in Nairobi and in satellite races in
Kakamega
and
Kisumu
and
Mombasa.
Everybody who registered, we have very many people, over 20,000, 21,000 as at last count,
1,600
who've registered to participate in this particular race. Good thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Telling you.
Hey. So last night was the final episode for this week for Kasiri, next coming up on Monday. But then Zari continues. What's happening tonight on Zari?
How far can a selfish person go, surely? Linda, who is Dylan's sister, is not okay with the fact that Dylan has accepted Lola as his daughter without any tangible proof except for the word of mouth from Balozi.
Balozi being Dylan's father?
Yes.
Okay.
Out of her selfishness and determination to prove that Lola is not Dylan's biological daughter, she finds a way to get Lola and requests a hair sample for a DNA test. City is in the movie. This and much more is happening in the new local series called Zari. Tumesha Fungulia Magic. And you can watch it on Maisha Magic Plus on DSTV channel 163 or GoTV channel 3, Monday to Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, dial *423# and download the My DSTV or My GoTV app and get or stay connected. You can rack up those series, those episodes that you didn't get and watch them all at once. It's a good thing. The story is unfolding. You don't want to miss this one.
What? Dear hero. Let's talk about Mashamba. And Mashamba is our conversation for the next 1 hour. We are joined by Advocate of the High Court, John Wambugu. John, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you.
That's a hot seat of the Situation Room. First thing, prove to us that you're an advocate of the High Court with the recent happenings.
Active.
We don't just hear someone at you, you're an advocate. How do we know?
Yes, my number is 6304/06. My P105 number. So
yeah, /06.
Yes.
You've been in this for a while, eh?
Yes.
Admitted in 2006.
Yes. I've been at it for 17 years now.
Yes. And it's current.
Yes,
it's
current.
live.
Yes,
you've renewed. It's active.
Yes.
Sawa.
Yes. Okay. And it has been for the last 17 years.
Since 06?
Yes, consistently.
Consistently?
Yes.
Okay. Sawa. What do you focus on mostly in your practice?
I focus on commercial and conveyance law, basically land law. That's my main areas of focus, and as well as corporate governance, being a company secretary.
Okay. Yes. Sawa. City has the day's proverb. This week, the proverbs are from Zanzibar. And so, tunakujana Kiswahili cha Unguja.
Yes. Spice Islands is what they were called at some point or the other. And they were known for the very, very brisk trade in spices. Yes. Asifuye mvua imemnyea.
Asifuye mvua imemnyea.
Yes.
John, you've heard this proverb before,
haven't you? Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Translate it to English.
Well, it is that he who praises or acknowledges something has probably had an interaction with it or has felt its impact in one way or another. Yes.
It is very well put. Extremely well put.
Kabisa?
Because the reference to rain, he who praises rain has been rained on.
Yes.
We're talking about lived experience.
That is lived experience.
You've interacted with this. You're talking about something that you know
full well,
very well. Okay. Many people right now would talk about things that they know very well, especially when it comes to land.
Yes.
There are others who are still now, with all things that are happening. Yes. Mavoko land, now there's the late Krema's land and other pieces of land. There are people who are sitting and they're just jittery and they're wondering, oh my goodness, so where do I stand when it comes to land? We've had these conversations many times. Oh, it's about due diligence. Oh, it's about you getting to know who you're dealing with, this and the other. But from your own casual reading of this, where is the problem?
I think first, as we interrogate this issue, we need to go back to history, because there has been a misconception or a concept that I have found rising up, and every time that these land issues come up, that I think need to be addressed once and for all, and with finality. This is basically having an updated national land policy, because the land in Kenya, as it were, we seem to take the approach that the titles given by the Queen or the colonial government are the ones that are most legitimate. And I have a serious question on that presupposition, because number one, the partition of Africa in 1884, the Berlin Conference, for lack of a better example, I can only equate it to an evening meeting of village robbers deciding which house each of them will raid in a village, or which home each of them will raid in a village. The Europeans had no land in Africa to partition or to come and issue titles on. That land belonged to our forefathers. But nevertheless, after that particular conference in 1885, the corporate raiders started the encroachment of Africa, beginning, and in our case it was the Imperial British East Africa Company in 1885 that started the way. And after acquiring a few chunks of land here and there and starting to extract some, raw materials, in 1895, the Queen told them, guys, now I'm going to pay you $250,000. And William Mackinnon, who was the founder, handed over whatever possessions he had acquired in British East Africa. And the British Protectorate was founded. Now, from that point, in around 1897, the first land administration ordinance was created by the Queen. And that act was the first. It was a precursor to what is called the Government Land Act. And that act is what allowed government to create leases of 99 years and basically license or lease land to primarily white settlers.
Bonambugu, just pause.
Yes.
99.
Yes.
What about the 999?
Even the 999, it came around 19 after that. After that.
Okay. So the first one was a 99-year lease.
The first one was 99-year leases. But
which
then
basically presupposes that first of all the king owns all the land.
Yes.
And then now
it was Queen Victoria then.
Queen owns all the land.
Yes.
And just giving you lease.
Yes.
To occupy it.
Yes.
And to put it into productive use.
Yes.
Okay.
Now the question there first that everybody has got to ask as an African: did the Queen have any land to issue titles? To give?
Titles on.
Yes. Whose land were they giving out? Anyway, so as we speak, all the land basically that is in Kenya, if we were to follow that line of logic, can actually be challenged by the original owners, who would be basically our ancestors and the people who owned that land from the beginning. From the coast, there was the Griama all the way up to Lake Victoria. The land was actually taken over by conquest. And if you read history, after the British took over, there was a brutal campaign waged by a certain Colonel Richard Maynard Zagen, which basically removed people, or our forefathers, from their land. And that land was then given to the British. Most of them were soldiers who were coming from the First World War after 1918. And it was given to them. And that was basically how we have white settler farms that then were taken over by the government of Kenya upon independence by the government of Kenyatta I. And on the basis of what was called a willing buyer, willing seller, the British government gave money, a fund, which is used, the Land Settlement Fund, which was to the government of Kenya to buy land from white settlers who are willing to leave the country and then distribute it.
So essentially,
to the natives.
To the natives who had been dispossessed, whose fathers had been dispossessed.
So they gave us a loan.
Yes.
To buy back our own land.
Correct.
Which had been taken from us.
Yes.
Loan. Was it a grant or was it a loan?
It was a loan, basically. It was a grant. It was interest-free, but of course, people are supposed to pay for it. It was supposed to be an evolving fund that then enabled the government to settle all those who are landless or those who had been displaced.
So where are you taking us with this? Because you're taking us somewhere.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Now, where I'm taking you with this is this, that after that particular activity, we have been questioning titles that were issued subsequently by Kenyatta I and by President Moi on public land. Now, it's good for Kenyans to know that the major difference between the land that Kenyatta 1 gave or issued out, the titles that were issued by Kenyatta 1 and the titles that were issued by Moi, there's one major difference that people normally do not recognize. Kenyatta 1 was issuing titles on land that was being bought from British settlers. What happened, the challenges that came with that program was that it was not equitable in the sense that preference was given to the elite. But the land already was titled. It belonged to British settlers. Kenyatta 1 did not give public land that belonged to the crown that he had inherited as a government of Kenya, for example, in form of government houses. Or land that belonged to public institutions. That was done by Moi.
By MO1.
Yes, in 1980s and 1990s. And that is where now the problem arose. Because today, if you are to go back to that history and decide that you are going to repossess all public land issued by President Moi, there would be no upper hill. All those buildings would be flattened. That land used to belong to the East African Railways and Harbors, then later Kenya Railways. There would be no community because the East African community had titles to all the land in community, what is called community today. Any titles that have subsequently been issued by President Moi after the collapse of the East African community, it already has titles. In fact, there are many cases that today the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is dealing with, trying to repossess those titles because the procedure was not followed in issuing new allotment to those titles. So it's good to understand the historical context because the national land policy that has subsequently come then was meant to address some of those issues. Now, after the Constitution of 2010, if you look at the mandate in Chapter 5 of the new Constitution, there are principles of the national land, what is called the national land policy, what's supposed to be the national land policy. Now, our National Land Commission is yet to upgrade the national land policy. The one that still is in use emanated from the Jonjo Land Commission of 1999. Towards the end of his tenure, MO1, or President Moi, formed a land commission led by Sir Charles Jonjo, or Honorable Charles Jonjo, that was meant to develop the principles of a national land policy. Now, the findings, the recommendation of the Jonjo Commission is what later informed the NAC government between 2000 and 2007 when they were coming up with the national economic strategy to basically implement it and come up with a national land policy that was approved by Parliament in 2009. If you look at the recommendation of that task force, the national land policy that was approved by Parliament in 2009 and what is now Chapter 5 of the Constitution on the principles of the national land policy, I think it's Article 16, it is almost word for word. Basically, it's the same principles that have flowed down. Now, but that policy has not been upgraded because there was a shift. Remember, before that Jonjo Commission made its recommendation, the principle of an innocent purchaser of land without notice, which now is what in law we call the torrent system, that if you bought land and you're an innocent purchaser, then your title, and the title you have been given is by the government. The government is a guarantor of that title. You should not be dispossessed under any circumstance, whether the title was legitimately acquired or illegitimately acquired. That was the common law position.
How do you identify an innocent purchaser?
The innocent purchaser was that, of course, that the land, you must have gone to the land was vacant, it was not occupied. The person who was selling the land to you had a title, and when you checked in the land registry, that title is in the land records.
Appeared genuine.
Or no, was actually in the land. The search that you got
was actually genuine.
Okay, that was the basic principle.
So how would you end up on the wrong side of the law then? If everything was genuine, then you are a genuine land purchaser. You're not an innocent land purchaser. You're just a genuine land purchaser.
Now, the challenge, that's what I'm saying now, the challenge that has come is that the Jonjo Commission, in the principles that they gave for the national land policy, changed the concept. They said that principle can only apply as long as the person bought, the land was acquired legally, not illegally, and then the Constitution of 2010 introduced the word irregular.
Okay. So it has to be legal and regular acquisition.
Acquisition.
By the seller.
No, the title itself from source. The title from source must have been legal and regular.
Okay.
Okay.
What then would constitute a legal title?
Now,
so that we can understand the illegality
of the title.
Yes. Of the title. Okay. A legal title is number one, that the original title was issued by the government of Kenya. Okay. And was in pursuance of a process of allotment or allocation that was in accordance with the law.
Okay.
In the law existing then. So, and that is the basis of what I started with when I talked about the colonialist. The basis of that legality was that it was the Crown Land Ordinance. Okay? Now, about regularity, that can be contested, because how did they get to a position where they could issue the titles? Okay. Now, here we are, we have a country where we are the ones who are now in charge of this country.
So we think.
Or so we think.
Yes.
Our leaders, we are the ones who elected them.
So we think.
So we think. We are disputing the titles that they have issued in pursuit of the powers that they acquired from the Queen. And now we are questioning, it's like we are questioning ourselves. And we also have a government that is pursuing an aggressive public housing program, okay?
On public land.
On public land, which again, and I am saying here, is actually a conversion of public land to private hands through irregular means. It's actually contrary to Section 62, Article 62 of the Constitution. Why? Because you take public land, you put apartments, you sell them
to individuals.
They form a management company, then you transfer the reversionary interest of the land to the management company. What have you done?
You've privatized the public land.
You have privatized the land without following due process.
What should be the due process?
The due process is, if the land is to be sold from a public organization, it should follow the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. Or
it should advertise and call 3 bidders.
Yes.
For each mortgage.
Yes. For the people who are developing the land. Or then have a public policy. And that is where I'm going back to the issue of having a national land policy that is effective and addresses the requirements of the Constitution, which is that land use should be equitable, it should be properly utilized, and it should, protect ecologically sensitive areas. It should be gender, it should not be gender discriminative. There are those principles.
Sure.
So,
Wakili, I'm trying to make a connection, because there's obviously one, between these historical issues and how land then was allocated, whether it be to government and then thereafter to individuals, and connect it to what we see happening today. It's still, from what you're saying, it is not possible to separate this, because this land debacle in the country at the moment is deep, and it runs very, very deep.
Yes.
But from what I understand, that we cannot separate what happened historically with the issues that we are seeing today.
Correct.
So much so that when you say a genuine landowner and how they were given, because one thing you did mention here is allotment. That one of the issues that then lent to credibility or legitimacy of land ownership was allotment. But today we're being told you have an allotment letter, you might as well own, air.
Exactly.
So what then is the connection between what happened historically and the mess that we are seeing today? Because we were told some high numbers of close to 90% of people who say they own land in this country, and the land actually does not belong to them because they've not gone through the proper process. So what are we saying, essentially?
Now, one of the issues, leasehold land, normally in Kenya, all urban areas is where you get leasehold land, and that's what is government land that used to be allocated previously prior to the 2010 Constitution, and even today is allocated. But now the land after the 2010 Constitution, the allocation powers are with the counties, because land Basically, the counties are the trustees of the people, and the National Land Commission then is supposed to oversee or manage that process. Now, the challenge that has been there even before was that the process of land allocation from independence was through different channels. There was the district land allocation committees, which basically would then sit and look at land based on the, on the plan, on the physical planning department of the county for the former districts, and they would have their own, county development plan that would then identify which land was industrial, which land was commercial, which land was residential, and so on and so forth. And then based on those plans, they would then draw up what are called the PDPs, the part development, the physical development plans that would then be used to allocate a title. So based on that map, we say in this area we have so many plots. In Nairobi, for example, there used to be auctions in the 1980s, in Parklands, in Westlands, in many other places. And then you would be called, there was an auction like every Friday, and the rule, like in Nairobi, I have seen records that once you won one auction, you had to walk away.
So that's you are only entitled to one.
Yes, to one.
Okay.
Once you won, you would walk away, and then you continue. But of course, there was still some,
there was ukora.
There was still some ukora. The prime titles would, or allotments would be at the bottom, so that most people take the ones in
the go.
I mean, there were all that was still there even back then. But basically, that was supposed to be there was supposed to be a public auction, more or less. That was the law. But now, what happened then in the 80s and 90s is that it became an issue of political
reward and
political
stuff.
Reward and stuff. Again, I go back to my original thought. When the Queen was giving the land to the coming the British soldiers who had fought in the First World War, and they were retiring, I mean, when you look at what President Moi did, he was doing the same with his political soldiers and awarding them public land in almost similar fashion,
Not almost.
Only that those ones were not retiring.
Not almost.
Yes.
Identical.
Identical, exactly. Yeah, so...
But a caveat here, if I may.
Yes.
What enabled the president to achieve that particular goal, that's Moi, was the structural adjustment programs that the World Bank and the ilk issued. Remember that matter of the government?
Yes.
And property and owning, etc., etc.?
Yes.
It opened the floodgates.
Correct.
Because prior to that, there was a modicum of control.
Yes. Each entity owned its land.
They did. But once they opened that...
Yes. And that is why even the government now institutions, you are very right. Actually, that's how the policy of telling Kenya Railways to surrender the land that you are not using, telling the other institutions surrender the land that you are not using. Yes. That is how that policy now came about, and then opens the floodgates that the senior civil servants and politicians and who are occupying government houses were then told you can actually
pay for it.
Yes, it was allocated to them.
It was allocated to them basically. In Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Upper Hill, the entire Upper Hill, community and so on. So, and this is countrywide. If you go to Kitale, you find the same thing. If you go to Nakuru, you'll find the same thing.
It's all over. Let's take a break.
It's all over.
27 minutes to 8. This morning we are hosting John Wambugu. He's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and also a corporate governance expert. We are talking about land policy in the country, what we have, whether it's serving us, and whether it's leading to what we are seeing now in this country in terms of land ownership and such other cases. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This is one of the hottest show that we can ever miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nduthai, nice meeting you. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again.
Character is like pregnancy, you cannot hide it. People hiding here and there, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you
will
see. So that is why the attitude that you were showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say: "You cannot pickpocket a naked man."
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
Looking at partly cloudy conditions in Nairobi this morning, highs of 25 and lows of 15. Cloudy at 15 in Nakuru with highs of 23 and lows of 13. It's cloudy at 17 in Nyeri with 24 as the high and lows of 16, where sunny conditions are in Eldoret going to highs of 24 and lows of 14. Sunny at 26 in Mombasa with highs of 32, and we'll see highs of 32 as well in a sunny Malindi. Mostly cloudy conditions in Kisumu with highs of 28, and it's partly sunny at 19 in Kakamega with highs of 28. Partly sunny at 19 in Kampala with highs of 27, and at 27 Dar es Salaam is sunny with highs of 31. It's 13 and mostly sunny in Johannesburg with highs of 30, and 32 will be the high in a partly cloudy Lagos at 26. It's cloudy at 24 in Kinshasa with highs of 32 and lows of 23. Mogadishu, Addis Ababa coming up.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. SpiceFm.
Spice up your life.
All right, so traffic situation this morning is not one to worry about, at least not a lot. We're looking at still some movement coming in on the Thika Superhighway, coming in through towards Pangani at the underpass. That's pretty busy as you get towards then Murang'a Road, also then coming in from Limuru Road, that seems to be packing up just a little bit. But again, we're not seeing anything out of whack. Not yet, at least. All right, Chiromo then heading out towards the city is also starting to pack up some. Coming off of Jogo Road, movement through towards Landis and then out towards Kamkunji at the roundabout. It looks good on the southern bypass. How about that for a morning drive and through the sites of the Nairobi National Park? All right, coming off of Likoni at the interchange, there were also seeing some movement going towards the southern bypass. But apart from that, nothing to worry about. Let's keep an eye on things and see how they come out as we get into traffic hour proper. SpiceFM KE on X. Let's talk there and keep things moving this morning.
Are you ready? Okay.
Spice FM. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
Mbogo continues. He's a conveyancing lawyer and also a corporate governance expert. We're talking about land policy, and John will say we need to update and upgrade our land policy.
Correct.
You know, as we were coming up to the implementation, to voting for the new constitution, the conversation around the constitution had many pillars. Yes. There was a governance issue. There were issues on the social side of issues, but land was also a key conversation that was happening. And how we manage and govern our land, how we transfer land, was also being discussed in Bomas previously by the committee of experts in Naivasha. All the way into the Constitution, there's an entire chapter that discusses land, that tells you how important land is. Yes. So one would expect that in the implementation of the Constitution, among the things that was going to make sure that we're now implementing the Constitution, establishing the National Land Commission and giving it power and oomph and all, would be looking at reviewing the policy and aligning it to the Constitution and the realities of the day. Are you saying that has not happened?
To a good degree, I mean, that continues to happen in the sense of we have the improvements that are going on in terms of land management, for example, with the new assessor system and so on. It's a process that is geared towards ending land fraud, for example, the duplication of titles and so on and so forth. So that is one of the pillars in the principles of land policy that are specified under Article 5 of the Constitution, Chapter 5 of the Constitution. So in some areas, it's happening, but also there was, if you remember, after the new Constitution came, there was this big fight between the National Land Commission and the minister. I think it was Honorable Ngilu that time. It was. And that, the momentum that would have been for the National Land Commission to fully implement its mandate, I think was largely missed by that fight, because in terms of resources, the National Land Commission was not given the adequate resources to carry out its mandate fully. And the net result was that we lost a huge opportunity. For example, in addressing historical land injustice, that mandate had a specific timeline, which actually unfortunately expired, has already expired. Why? Because they did not have enough resources. So then there was the other issue of public land and compensation that somehow ended up with the National Land Commission, and it ended up creating a huge, furore and chances of corruption. And that is why you saw the former land commissioners being charged because of the compensation over the Standard Gauge Railway from Mombasa. So in a sense, we lost direction because we introduced things that, we focused on things that we should not have focused on.
They were diverted. Attention was diverted into, you know what, guys?
Yes.
You can sell land.
Yes. Correct.
And the commissioners swallowed the bait.
Exactly. But the reality is the current situation that we are seeing of people being dispossessed or, having their structures brought down because of setting up structures on, illegally acquired land is really a consequence of the government not being proactive in terms of creating solutions. If you remember, we had the case of Waitiki in Mombasa. What happened?
It was 1,000 acres as well.
Yes, it was 1,000 acres. There was a solution. Waitiki the valuation was done. There was negotiated with the government. The president, in fact, President Uhuru got involved personally. Eventually, Waitiki was paid an agreed amount.
What I didn't like about it is that we, the taxpayers, paid Waitiki.
Correct.
We always do.
Yeah,
we always do. And unfortunately, to clean up the land mess, the news that Kenyans have got to receive and accept is that it's going to be expensive for the taxpayer.
That we are going to be paying.
Yes. But they are innovative.
Eric, when the government pays, who's paying?
Yes, when the government pays, it's you who is paying. Yes.
That's why I'm saying I had a problem with the Waitiki compensation issue.
Yes.
And those who wanted to, Waitiki should have been allowed to sell to people who want to buy.
Yeah, but think about
anyway,
it. Yes.
It's okay, continue. Let's continue.
But think about it this way. Those people who have built there and have settled there are also Kenyans. The presumption we have is that they are also taxpayers.
That's true.
Thank you.
So let them buy. Let that taxpayer buy his land.
Yes.
These people in Movoko and the one was that the place Jiru, they have bought their land. They are genuine Kenyans.
No. They are Kenyans, yes.
But they have not genuinely.
But they have not genuinely bought the land because whoever they paid for the share certificates, if it's 100,000, were thugs. Yes. So what the government should be doing is engaging the initial landowners.
So then I must come in and ask a question because you've just said they bought them knowing that they were entering into a legitimate process.
Yes.
Because for the majority of these folks who did, that was actually the case.
Yes.
They did not go to this, what did you call that person? They did not go to this agent and purchase this land knowing that this person was a thug.
Okay, some did, but
okay,
majority perhaps didn't.
Okay.
Yes.
So now this is the question that we're asking, that in that case where you've paid this individual, who should then come in, number one? Should there be any kind of compensatory mechanism to deal with then what we're seeing today? Because that is the problem here. Yes. If we are being given the statistics that almost 90% of the people who own land in this country have not done it through a proper process.
Yes.
So there are many things that are happening. You go do a search at Ivy House, the results of your search, they may show you one thing, but they actually are something else. Yes. Number two, the person who gives you your share certificate is actually some guy who deals in some back alley corner somewhere. Yes. You're none the wiser because your money has already gone. Yes. Then you have this piece of land upon which you erect a building, and then 3 minutes later somebody's coming in the bulldozer and taking it down. Who then is supposed to step in to sort out that problem? And that's what we're dealing with today. Mavoko today, Njiro tomorrow, somewhere else the next day.
But on Mbugo,
yes,
what you say is true. Yes. The Njiro land is private land.
Yes.
Portland,
yes,
government has a say.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Waitiki land was invaded.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, in this particular case, the invaders, one could argue, are the people who are selling the land to these unsuspecting buyers.
Yes.
If that is the case.
Yes.
That was private land.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Waitiki.
Yes.
The government came in. Private land.
Yes.
this is land that the government has assigned.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We have a precedent.
Yes.
Is that not what you learned friends say?
Yes.
Yes. So,
I think in a sense,
in layman terms,
yes, in layman terms,
I have a point.
You have a very strong point.
Yes.
And that is what I'm alluding to, that in terms of the solutions that we are giving for these issues, I think we need to be a bit more proactive, even from the lawmaking, in terms of addressing can some of those disputes be resolved. Because remember, this is an issue, a myriad of issues. One, there's the issue of law enforcement.
Yep.
How did these people invade the land? There was law enforcement. Like Portland is a government institution, literally. It's a government-controlled institution.
Yep.
East African Portland. How did they invade land? There are several police stations in that area. There is a district commissioner who was been
over a period of time.
Yep.
And why I'm saying, like, I just responded to Ndu that some of them actually knew they were buying land that did not belong to whoever is selling to them, is because already, if you remember, Governor Mutu had given a press conference some years back. There were caveats. EACC had put an entire billboard on Mombasa Road warning people about that land. So people still came, got their share certificates and started building. So, but then you have to look at it from a human angle. Now, we have an issue where we are building homes for the homeless, those who want to acquire land. I mean, who want to acquire places to live, houses. At the same time, we are making others homeless. Why don't we use the same approach? Because we have institutions that are meant to fund public housing. Just go and tell East African Portland, okay, this land, unless the government requires it for a specific purpose, because
it's a lot of land, Chief.
Yes, it's still East African Portland has a lot of land. I mean, it's tens of thousands of acres. So, and actually, a section of it they have already commenced the process of selling to the squatters. So, what was so different about this particular section? You might as well just have called them, told the guys, you are going to have to take loans.
People are joking.
Give us some more money.
Yeah, give us some more money. Pay East African Portland for their land.
You are playing right the hands of these thugs who started this process in the first place.
Yes.
This is the game they were gunning for. When they were telling people, shamba zie taito,
nyumba,
enda uyenge nyumba.
Yes.
That's what they were gunning for. They were saying, if we are many, the government will be forced to come to the table.
Yes.
And negotiate with us.
Yes.
I have sold you people, out of the 4,000 acres, I've sold 3,000 acres.
Yes.
I have 1,000 acres.
Yes.
I'll end up with 1,000 acres.
But
that's the whole game plan.
Yes.
And now if we actually just play into that
no, but Eric, how you address
what
that?
is to stop
Yes.
the next thug from going to another piece of land somewhere and saying this ADC land, we are going to do the exactly same thing.
But that has been done before, Eric.
Exactly.
Yes, but Eric, what you need to do...
Let's not sanctify Ukora and Wizi here by saying I know why. No.
We will not sanctify it, definitely. But what we are saying is, you see, the criminals, the people who have done that, don't humor them or entertain them. It should be extremely punitive. Actually charge the people who actually defrauded people, seize their assets. The same way you deal with corruption. That is, I mean,
yes. So if you are telling me that we are going to get these people to pay for that land, I'm fine.
Yes.
But telling me that I am going to continue paying taxes so we can buy that land, no.
Correct.
I am not going to buy land for some thug who went into Portland 20 years ago.
Yes.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Essentially, that land, if it's government land, I'm also a shareholder.
Yes.
So that man has already robbed me of my land. Then he now wants me to pay him so that...
rob him again. Yes, indeed. I mean, that's why, a national land policy, then establishes a framework of dealing with the issues. And we stop an ad hoc kind of approach. You can see already the issue of Waitiki brought certain expectations.
Yes.
And remember, Waitiki came from the coastland clashes. That is how the invasion initially was done.
Actually, it was 1,000 acres.
Yes.
The invasion had started in small bits.
Yeah.
Yes.
What then happened? You see, Likoni grew.
Yes.
And as it grew, it got more urbanized. Remember, a lot of that land was rural land.
Yes.
So development encroached it.
Yes.
The clashes was just the excuse for larger numbers of people to now
move in.
Yes, and they didn't just move in. Yes. There are people, specifically politicians, who actually nudged them to actually do that.
Correct.
Yes.
With a whole game plan of grabbing that land.
Yes.
Using innocent people.
Yes.
neighborhoods, people who are poor, telling them come here and occupy this piece of land.
Yes.
But there are areas you will not touch.
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
But there are also better examples. If you look at, for example, Mtwapa, the county government of Kilifi wanted to expand the town because they realized there were some private farmers, or landowners who are doing farming next to Mtwapa, so they needed to expand the town. The Kilifi county actually purchased the land and allowed Mtwapa to extend, subdivided and created leases.
There's an area in that region, well, it's not really Mtwapa, Utange, when you go through Kisauni, they were farmers. It's a little beyond Bamburi. People own huge tracts of land there. So it makes sense. You see, the moment you have an example where there's been a government intervention that benefited the Mwananchi, then you cannot say that nothing could have been done.
Yes, exactly.
Or the humane approach could not have been followed while not letting these guys go scot-free. It isn't one thing.
Exactly.
You don't let them get away with it. But these individuals, a humane approach to handling this matter is of paramount importance.
Yes.
You know, these aren't wealthy people who had money and they didn't know what to do with it. These are people who painstakingly, bit by bit, and these sellers were wise. They sell it to you on very easy terms, so you actually don't even feel the pressure. Yes. But now the pressure is there. All your money gone.
Plus everything that you've put up
in
there.
the blink of an eye, gone.
Some of the plots were being sold for 100,000. You know, I mean, of course, the prices themselves could tell you that there was a problem with this land because land in that area cannot be going for, so low a price. But, I mean, Kenyans are desperate to own their homes.
Someone who needs land.
Yes.
Look, I think we keep talking about what should be done, and then, of course, we give rise to the ideal situation.
Yes.
The policy should prescribe 1, 2, 3. But then the thing is that what drives policy is persons. It's individuals.
Yes.
And that what drives a person to do something is the will to do it. And I'm hard-pressed to see that this is not being done because there is no will, because there are few individuals who benefit from this situation being a mess. That in the mess of all of this, the clouds, the dust, the whatever, there are few individuals who continue to benefit in there being no order in this situation. And until we see it for what it is, we can be prescribing until the cows come home and it will never be done. And that's the thing. Until the bad mannerism is dealt with, until impunity and corruption is dealt with, we can be prescribing forever. We can talk about, yes, there should be a land policy and that there was historical behavior in this manner or the other. But at the end of the day, it's controlled by a few. Do you mean to tell me, Wakili, for example, that at the Ministry of Lands, where you will go as an individual today and you will see that your title exists in the system, and then before you know, you go back and it belongs to somebody else. You mean to tell me that the powers that be do not know that this is happening from everybody else? You mean to tell me that that national land policy, which should have been sorted out by now, is not being sorted out and people do not know? That an instruction cannot be given, can we sort this thing out and deal with it? Do you really think that it is a priority for the powers that be, again, that people are crying that one woman is about to lose another house in the span of 2 weeks because of a transaction gone bad? You mean to tell me that if there was interest in dealing with this thing, it would not have been sorted by now?
I think one is that it's a very difficult indeed situation, and there needs to be serious political will. And I think what our politicians need to understand is that there can be no serious development in any country where private land rights are not respected. That's number one. Number two, the security of tenure to land has to be guaranteed for any person to invest and continue investing in a country. Whether it is a citizen, a foreigner, anybody coming to your country must have certainty about land. Because land is a primary resource in any country.
That's true.
Now, you have a situation, and people may not associate this, but if you remember when President Uhuru brought the issue of riparian land, and buildings started going down, there were some that were, I think, in my view, were legitimately...
It started with the Kibaki government.
Yes, it actually started with the Kibaki government for roads. But there were indeed some, like the one outside Westgate there, that building, the Nakumatuke, where the Nakumatuke used to be. I think that indeed should have come down because that was clearly riparian. I mean, the water flows. In fact, after it was demolished, the flooding there stopped. So I mean, some of them you can clearly see they had a lot of sense. But that uncertainty in many other areas then made the banking institutions to become very wary about lending using titles.
Yeah.
Because they actually, and that is why that initiative was stopped, was because banks said they had 4,000 titles held as security that would have been affected by that action. The fallout economically would have been massive, because the minute some property is demolished and somebody had borrowed land on it, do you expect them to pay?
Well, Mbugu, does it then not point to partial treatment of certain institutions? Because banks are big and they have a loud voice, their matter is adhered to, because they are crying, they are kicking a fuss. By the way, there are parts of this country where if you have a title, it's just yours. You can't go with it to the bank.
That's your problem.
True. Okay? So, if the banks didn't do due diligence and followed the law, and these guys are very strict on procedure and these things, are you telling me you could not employ people to find out that this particular title in this part is riparian land, and that they have legal minds, they have heads of legal, that they wouldn't know that this riparian land should actually not be built on? Now, they are protected. Okay? The government says, okay, guys, let's go easy on this. If we're going to give people free passes, for heaven's sake, why don't we just give the citizens of the country a free pass as well? They've made mistakes. They've been foolish. They've bought land they shouldn't buy. But then, the price they're paying, this is too steep. It's too steep a price to pay. Because you talk of commissions, Bwana Wambugu. You talk of the Njoroge Commission. What did the Ndegwa Commission usher in? That little clause.
Of public servants doing business.
Yes, not hindering public servants from doing business. The manifestation of what people interpreted it to mean. Here we are.
Correct.
We are sitting here expecting that government will take lead and will take action on land. Government is individuals. Those individuals, just by dint of the offices they occupy, will end up being the biggest beneficiaries of land fraud in this country. And they have always been. The government was not on the forefront in changing our land issues in the constitution. It was other institutions and other civil society agencies, actors, Father Gabriel Dolan and the others, and the Firimbis and
National Land Alliance.
National Land Alliance. Those were the ones that were taking the lead. Those voices are silent, and maybe those voices now should come back again and start talking about this. People like Davinda Lambert, they need to come up again and start pushing the issue of ensuring that our land policy, our land laws, our land management is proper. Otherwise, expecting... Did you see the people at Athi House the other day saying, well, you did a search at land office? No, it wasn't here.
Yes. No, it's not here.
Yes.
Maybe
And that's a whole
to
PS and CS saying, no.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
They will never. Athi House is a criminal enterprise. They are not going to take charge of this matter the way you're saying. They will not. They will only do so if we apply pressure to them. Now, you are a seasoned lawyer with many years' experience in conveyancing. Join hands with the others. Take action.
Definitely, yes.
But I'm not paying for it. People, thugs.
You think you're not?
No. You can't say, sasa hii kitu ni maji. No. The thugs who went to Portland, waende ndani na mali yao ichukuliwe. Ilipe. Watu. Yeah, that's it. Where did the money go?
Somebody was paid.
If they collected $1 billion shillings from the people who purchased land, look for that $1 billion shillings. If you have to draw their blood and sell it, and their bone marrow and their teeth, sell it. Hapana. We are going to have a new levy here for land compensation levy.
People whose houses were demolished.
No. We must definitely. I think we must definitely, of course, make it extremely, an example of the people who sold land in Morocco. That is one, I think, action.
It's an opportunity that has arisen,
and
it must be exploited to the fullest.
So that an example is set that you don't do that. Number two, I think we also need to have an active police department, like that we have diplomatic police, just for dealing with land issues. So that if a public
which police?
No,
Which police?
You are doing okay.
John Wambogo is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. And he means well.
We give him that.
Thank you very much, John, for joining us.
But do you see how the distrust we have in our institutions?
Why? Surely. Why do you think so?
At your police department for lunch.
Hey,
it's 8 a.m. Good morning.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is News. I'm Dennis Aseto. The government is planning to draft new regulations that will make it mandatory for every government officer to go through NYS before being employed. Speaking at the NYS headquarters in Ruaraka Public Service, CS Moses Kuria said NYS has gone through major reforms and will soon become a compulsory college for young people who want to join the public service.
Kabla mtu aandikwe kazi ya serikali, lazima apitie NYS. So that even those people who are going to be in the Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Water, Ministry of Lands, we make sure that we can trace them back. We have traceability from the factory where they were created. And that factory is right here in NYS. Ndio nikiona mtu akona ufisadi, analegalega, mimi nitakuja niulize DG, hii ndio ulifunza huyu mtu kweli alipitia mikono yake. Sasa because we come from nowhere, we have no way of tracing back. So I want to ensure that I push this policy, and I'm going to present a cabinet memo for cabinet to approve that any new hiring in the public service, mtu akuje ameuma certificate ya NYS kwa meno.
He further asked public servants who have attained the retirement age to proceed on retirement.
Nimeona juzi na nilizoongea huko Kericho. Mtu akifikisha miaka 60, tafadhali enda nyumbani. Kuna wengine akifika 58, saa hiyo ndio anakumbuka akona disability ya jicho moja, ndio aongezewe muda. Hapana, nimewashika na bwana PS, I'm waiting for your report. I'm waiting for your report of those people who are misusing our generosity. Rais amesema na amesema very clearly, mtu akifikisha miaka 60 enda nyumbani. Wacha kutafuta sababu zingine za kuja.
Well, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua asked Kenyans living abroad to invest in treasury bonds and bills, assuring them of security of their investments and better interest. Speaking in Brussels during an interactive session with Kenyans living in Belgium, the DP said that the government had made it easier for them to buy the bonds and get better returns from this investment. The DP said Kenyans will earn the interest the government is presently paying foreign lenders for their money.
It's critical to the Ruto administration. That is exactly why the president established the State Department for Diaspora Affairs to closely work with you in addressing your specific issues and unlock your investment potential. As our frontline economic warriors, such a meeting will raise issues of concern, which will table before the inaugural political consultations in Nairobi on 24th November 2023 for strategic interventions by the two nations. We are also seeking to strengthen the remittance portfolio for a strong economy. It is important at this point that geopolitical issues have negatively affected international trade, and our shilling has been sliding against international currencies.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, is set to review criminal charges against Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula in the 122 million shillings fraud case facing him. The prosecutor told the trial magistrate Lucas Onyina when the matter came up for hearing that the DPP wants to review the file before any proceedings can take place. He told the court that the review may affect the course of the hearing and sought 2 weeks to consult with accused persons and their defense counsel. The prosecution added that the proceeding with the hearing as it is might be prejudicial to some of the accused persons. Now, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has appointed a 16-member team to review Kenya credit accumulation and transfer system policy in the country. The appointment by the Cabinet Secretary now sets the stage for the implementation of recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, which identified credit accumulation and transfer systems cuts in Kenya as an important aspect of education reforms that need to be implemented. Section 8.1 subsection I of the Kenya National Qualifications Framework Act number 22 of 2014 mandates KNQA to facilitate linkages, credit transfers and exemptions, and a vertical and horizontal mobility at all levels of learning to enable entry, re-entry and exit. The authority, in consultation with stakeholders, had developed a Kenya Credit Accumulation and Transfer System policy as one of the tools to contribute to lifelong learning. And Israel has agreed to delay unexpected invasion of Gaza for now so that the United States can rush missile defenses to the region to protect U.S. troops there. The Wall Street Journal reported this now. The U.S. officials have so far persuaded Israel to hold off until U.S. air defense systems can be placed in the region as early as later this week, according to the report. This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
Congratulations. You've seen the hand of the Lord. Thank you very much. I've earned another title today, this morning at SpiceFM. Mama Justice, I don't mind it.
Joel in Kericho.
Salama sana Heri, habari ya asubuhi.
Salama bwana, mambo namna gani?
Salama kabisa bro.
Mambo ya Inamoi kuliendaje?
Mambo ya Inamoi, vile nilikwambia ndugu yangu, alienda asubuhi na ile gari ya kwanza.
I must have missed it.
So did I.
Even if somebody was to render you irrelevant, there is still work you can do.
Okay, sawa.
I deserve to keep you accountable. You deserve to give me a report. You don't work for me. I don't work for you. You work for me.
Do you like that Freudian slip? Lovely, isn't it? Thank you very much.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Okay, so traffic is not posing too much of an issue today, right? So a little bit of movement coming on the Thika Superhighway. As you then get to the Pangani underpass, you'll be stuck for a little bit, but then you're gonna get out. You go then towards Wangari Maathai Way, or you go through towards Murang'a Road, and then you'll be fine getting into the CBD, because after that, there's not much happening. All right, if we're looking at what's coming off of Limuru Road, there's in and outbound traffic, but again, manageable. Peponi, then everybody leading into Westlands. There's some action happening right around James Gishiro. It's going to spill over towards Waiakiwe and then through towards Kuna Road and towards the Red Hill Link Road. So that mess is happening right there. Not quite sure what's causing that, but it looks like it will dissipate in minutes. Yay. Okay, coming off of North Airport Road through from Cabanas out towards the southern, I beg your pardon, the eastern bypass, that looks okay for now. But Likoni at the interchange is then crawling along towards the southern bypass. Lunga is jam-packed, and we're also looking at free movement on Likoni Road. We're in traffic hour. It looks like Thursday will be manageable. Let's keep it so and talk on Spice FM, KE on X.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down.
8 minutes after
this
8. How
is
are
the
you
Situation
doing?
Room.
Which hour is this now? The third
Third.
one? Okay, yeah. On to the third hour of Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. Are you preparing yourself? So you already did the first part, which is registering for this year's Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. All 21,600, is it?
Yes, please. Registered.
That's a good number.
Check.
They have registered to participate in this year's marathon on Sunday.
Check.
Okay. So where is it going to be?
Uhuru Gardens. We're going to take off from Uhuru Gardens. It really also depends on what race you're running. 5:45, there's a race that we're asking you to show up. You'll tell us those ones.
Yes.
There's the 10K. You'll tell us what time to come. There's the 21K. You'll also tell us what time to come. And the 42K. So get ready to tell us the times to come. So you show up for your race. Please, not everybody just come and stand at Uhuru Gardens because no. It just makes traffic a little bit more difficult to deal with, and the folks have tried to make sure that everything is lined up for Sunday. So it is Sunday. It is not Saturday. It is Sunday, the 29th of October, where everybody gets together for this.
But
which other question did you have?
Where else?
Okay, so you're not in Nairobi. You will not be able to run from Uhuru Gardens. If you're in Kakamega, you're good. If you're in Kisumu, you're also good. If you're in Mombasa, you can run as well. They're called satellite races, and you can participate in this while everybody else participates in Nairobi as well.
Very good.
Yes,
now, if you would like to know where the races are going to be taking place in those other units, so you went to that Standard Chat, the NairobiMarathon.com website. Go back there. You'll get the details, all the details of where you will run if you're in Mombasa, if you're in Eldoret, and elsewhere. Okay? Also, you'll get the times for your races, the particular race. Also, maybe you would like to, you have not registered, you didn't get in time to register, but you'd like to support the Future Makers program by Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. You can still go to NairobiMarathon.com and click on a button written Donate. Click on it and donate to the Future Makers program. So now let me tell you, if you'll be running in Nairobi and you're doing the 5-kilometer race, it'll be flagged off at 9:30 a.m. Be there at 8:30, not 4:30, not 5:30. Just try and be there an hour to your race. 5-kilometer race, it's 9:30 a.m. 10-kilometer race, it's 8 a.m. 21 kilometers, 6:30 a.m. 42 kilometers, 6 a.m. And the 21-kilometer wheelchair race will be flagged off at 5:45 a.m. In all of them, try and be there an hour to your race so that you have enough time to familiarize yourself with your surroundings, to also get time to warm up and all before they flag off. Senior, today, Thursday, there's people called Linda, Lola, Dylan.
They're doing things.
Yeah.
They're all unfolding in this story of Zari, which premiered on the 23rd of October. And we're into the 4th day today. So 8:30 tonight, you can see the intrigues of this particular program where somebody is not somebody's child and was taken over by another person. And now the child has grown up and the father wants the child back. And the person who was given the child says, what? After 21 years, you want? No, it's not happening. So how are we going to actually deal with this? The intrigues of Zara unfolding in another episode tonight at 8:30 on DSTV, Maisha Magic Plus, channel 163 or GoTV, channel 3. You want to watch this. It's a local production and it is fantastic. Kenyan actors giving the very best of their talent on this new show called Zari. You can download the My DSTV or the My GoTV app, dial *423# and find out how you can get and or stay connected.
Namna hiyo.
Hivyo hivyo.
So we are going to soon be joined by the Honorable Kuria Kimani, the Member of Parliament for Molo constituency. He was also the chairman of the National Assembly Finance and Planning Committee. We'll be talking about KRA's tax amnesty program. As he gets here, let's first look at what Moses Kuria was doing. It was just in the news right now with Aseto. He was at the NYS yesterday, and there are a number of things that he said, and those things are going to raise some issues, okay? So number one, he said, we get all these thousands of people as cohorts into NYS every time. They come in here, we train them, we give them some basic skills, and also we inculcate some sense of discipline and patriotism in them. That's the whole idea of NYS, right? So then after that, what happens to them? Well, some of them leave, some of them are still retained by NYS, others now have to go and look for other things to do. Moses Kuria, one of the things he said was, how about the police and military recruitment starts with NYS graduates? They already have some basics. They can run kilometers. You have already done those whole basic things. Work on a Meno 32, you have checked all those things as you're going to NYS, the same way you're doing to police, you've done it. So why not start with, okay, police and military recruitment, take NYS graduates and then fill up the others with people who are not NYS graduates. That way you're making use of these NYS graduates. Secondly, people who get employed into public service go for a mandatory course at NYS. Kuwanyorosha, kuweka discipline, kuambia the importance of getting up and making your bed, and all this and the other.
And to salute and to march.
And to follow orders. Follow instructions.
Okay.
Right?
And to burn every morsel of food that you eat.
See? Now those things, if you listen to Moses Kuria and it just sounds like, he's saying all these things, but think about it. I like what he's saying. We have NYS. Already, the Working Party on Education had proposed that after secondary school, before joining tertiary and all others, all graduates of secondary school should go for mandatory NYS. Just back to what you did, CT. Go back into NYS, right? After high school, go through NYS. How about now this one we say, take public servants and let them go through some programs in NYS?
The point you make is a valid one, because what NYS or the equivalent of NYS does, that this compulsory voluntary government service, is one, it inculcates a discipline that you probably thought you had, but you'll realize you didn't once you get there. And there's a part of you that gets to look at life differently from what you actually thought before. Okay? Because when you are at NYS camp, by the way, it was after my time. The people
It came after
me, yes. Remember one of the reasons why it was disbanded? There's a gentleman called Mwandawiro, who was a student leader, later became an MP. There were what were periodic student riots at the University of Nairobi, and usually it was this helter-skelter activity where students are throwing stones at the riot police, and the riot police are chasing after them. On this one occasion, one of the first graduates, the first group of graduates, when the police came, these guys weren't running. It was a formation. Did I see that? Been taught formation. And they stood. The police were advancing, they stood. Then orders were issued. Forward, march. So this whole group of people started walking towards.
Now these are university students.
They're not throwing stones.
Marching information towards the police.
Police. And the police were here and there. You see, that thing did not go another year. What?
The government was like, this NYS is creating an...
What are we doing here? Huh? What? They were orderly. There was no mayhem. They were listening to one or two voices. That's it. They had become disciplined. Now that is not something the government was keen on. I thought in my mind, even then, an opportunity was missed. Because the government is looking at the flip side, and they're looking at students as this disorganized group of people who would oppose them from time to time. And rightfully, they're thinking, if they're this organized, my friend, we are going to have a very serious problem on our hands, because university students demonstrating rioting is not just university students. They have parents, they have relatives, they have siblings. So you're talking about a very large community of people who are watching all this, and they're likely to side with the students. So the opportunity was missed. That was an opportunity for opening dialogue and saying, okay, folks, now that you've demonstrated this, can we talk? They were never unwilling to talk. There's a gentleman called Josephat Karanja when he was Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. One of the things, and in those days, it's one James Orengo who was a student at the university. Karanja used to talk. It's one of the things that people liked him for. There's a gentleman called Mungai who was an even better conversationalist when he came in. Anyone who led the university, you know, I keep saying the university, there's only one university then anyway.
Of course.
One who was able to talk to students suddenly found that things didn't go as badly as you thought. Now, there's one gentleman who also seemed to have understood that rule, the late Professor Magoha. In his tenure at the university, did you ever hear of one squeak or one stone being thrown or something going wrong somewhere? Somehow, there are leaders who had understood this idea of dialogue. Now, there are the details which we'll not go into. But when I said the opportunity was missed, can you imagine if you'd had consequent groups of people going to NYS? How many years hence we would have a very different public servant, a very different citizen who's in positions of leadership and growing because they would have had that inculcated in them. Yes. Plus, we would have a voluntary workforce that can do very many things.
Yep. People with some basic skill that does a lot, very many things that we need done in the country.
And spread right across the country. So by the time they even get into what you call formal employment, you're talking about a very different person. But as I said, the opportunity was missed.
It was missed. And, I look at NYS and I see, again, the missed opportunity. There's what it does. It brings in, it inculcates that sort of discipline and patriotism, which are very, very important core of a nation. Then there's also the skill and the ability to mobilize these people, right? I always think that one of the biggest contractors in this country should be the National Youth Service. When you're talking about building a road, I don't know which road and this and the other, NYS should be a contractor. They've got all this. They've got engineers, they've got civil engineers, they have people who can build roads, they have people who can build bridges, they have people who can build airports. So when you talk about bringing this company of road and bridge and whatever, we can use NYS as a contractor in very many of these things and winning contracts.
Eric, we've done it.
Yep.
This railway line from here to Nanyuki, who do you think were the principal people who were behind building it?
It was NYS and the military.
Who are the individuals who are called on a regular basis when you need something to be filled? I won't forget when the country was coming together and planning the funeral for the late president.
Yes, who did they bring in?
Who did it? Who refurbished? Who made sure that things were done on time? Who were the individuals who were set up to sort out a lot of these issues on the days leading to and the day of?
Even in all these government functions, you will see NYS people being positioned somewhere, sentries at the gates. They'll help to maintain order. They'll help to, chaperone people and guide people. So we have them.
We do.
Now, let's extend that kind of discipline and order and all into, I agree with Moses Kuria, public servants, NYS. Police, start by recruiting these NYS recruits and all. Military, start. The National Police Service is going to have a word.
They will have a word.
Of course, you'll hear what they'll respond to the CS. In due course, you will hear it. Anyway, our guest is in the studio now. The Honorable Kuria Kimani is the Member of Parliament for Molo constituency and the Chairman of the National Assembly Finance and Planning Committee. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Good morning, Latiff. Good morning, Duke. Good morning, our good Proverbs guy.
The Proverbs guy is called C.T. Munga.
Yes. I know. Good morning. But we really enjoy your Proverbs. They're very rich in content, and especially when you put them on context. And when I listen to the two of you, try to interpret it, it's really amazing. I was telling Latiff the other day, I was on a working trip in Washington a few weeks ago. And I met a lot of people that really watch and listen to SpiceFM. And it was really amazing because with the different time zones, they have to wake up very early in the morning to listen to you guys. So keep up the good work you're doing.
Mheshimiwa, equally, we love the idea of you coming here and sharing with us the very specific and peculiar knowledge that you have on these subjects. So thank you for honoring our invitations.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mheshimiwa, today's proverb is from Zanzibar. Okay? It will be read to you in Kiswahili, and then you will do first the direct translation into English, and then you'll give us your interpretation of it.
All right.
Siti?
Asifuye mvua imemnyea.
Okay.
Asifuye mvua imemnyea. First of all, just do the direct translation into English.
He who praises the rain has been rained on.
Yes. Hapa wamepata ngapi?
Bwana 10 juu ya 10.
Sawa. Sawa. Now, the interpretation. What's your interpretation of it?
That for you to talk about a service or a product, it's because you are beneficiary of it. So, for you to talk about tax amnesty, it is because you have been either part of the process, you benefited from it, or you know the great benefits going to give you. Latiff, some of us were very entrepreneurial in spirit from the word go. Even when there were no opportunities, when I applied for my HELB loan in 2008, when I was joining university, I was told I needed to have a KRA pin. So I went and did an application for the KRA pin, but that time you had to go to a cyber. So of course I had zero knowledge on tax laws that time. So when I applied, the guy in the cyber did VAT for me. So I was supposed to be a VAT agent. So a few years later, when I registered my company in 2000, I think 12 or thereon, after clearing my university, I'm told that you owe KRA like, I think it was 200,000 shillings. Why? Because I've not been filing my VAT returns. I'm like, I never sold anything that would make
What
me...
are those?
Returning to who?
Returning to who?
I was a student.
Naturally.
I was a student. So I had to write a letter and prove that I was a student that time, and I was not trading in any vatable products, and I was not a VAT withholding agent. And luckily, at that time, then with that letter, then they just exempted me from paying the 20,000 shillings VAT. So if you check now, what you did with the Finance Act, Section 37E, we amended the Tax Procedures Act. That now automatically gives you amnesty on all penalties and interests. If you but you have to apply for it. Let's start from there. You have to go to a TSO agent or go to the KRA website, go to the Department on Debt and Compliance and apply for the amnesty. So that if you are wrongly, like me, registered for VAT and you're not a VAT withholding agent or anything else that you didn't do, probably didn't file your annual returns, and therefore that has attracted penalty and interest, you will be given 100% amnesty. Amnesty means you'll be forgiven.
That's it.
That's it. It's not a negotiation. It's not something that you have to bribe somebody, or you have to sweet talk somebody, or you have to go. I was engaging the new KRA Commissioner General the other day, and we were laughing how as taxpayers, when they go to KRA and you owe them money, and you want them to listen to you, then you go poorly dressed and thinking that you unakaa mashida watakuhurumia. You don't need to kaa mashida. You don't need to do. You just need to go to the website or go to any TSO facility in the country.
What is TSO?
Tax Service it's called
office.
Yeah, Tax Service Office or Huduma Center. If you go to, where you come from has a Huduma Center, and most likely that Huduma Center has a KRA officials sitting there. You just need to turn up and tell them, as Section 37E of the of the Finance Act, amending the Tax Procedures Act, giving full amnesty to all principal taxes that are owed to KRA, and I came here to apply.
So
just apply, and you get it.
Who qualifies for this amnesty?
So any taxpayer, or let me put it, any Kenyan. If and know sometimes when we use the word taxpayer, we imagine the big taxpayers. But as long as you have a KRA PIN, you are registered as a taxpayer. So any taxpayer who applies for this amnesty gets it. However, if you owe KRA any principal tax, what does principal tax mean? So, for example, you withheld your contractor, and therefore you have an obligation on withholding tax or the VAT, or an employer, and therefore withholding agent of payee, pay as you earn. So that would be the principal tax. So as long as you've paid your principal tax, then you qualify for amnesty. And someone will ask,
So there'll be amnesty on what? I've already paid.
No, if you've not paid your principal,
So let's
tax,
say
you'll be penalized.
I was supposed to remit a payee for my employees, but I didn't. So it's accruing a penalty.
Yep.
And interest.
So you have three problems.
Yeah.
So if you've not been paying your pay, if you've not been remitting your pay for your employees, then you owe KRA first of all the principal tax.
The payee itself.
That is payee. You have been penalized.
There's a penalty.
And you're penalized. I think pay is paid by the 9th of the month. Like that. So if you remitted past the date, then you'll be penalized. And for each additional time you did not pay that payee, it accrues interest. Because then it means that you're using government funds in your trading. And if you're using your government funds for trading, then it's like you're using a bank facility. Then
the government has lent me money.
Has lent you money. So that means you have principal tax, you have penalty, and you have interest. So you say, go to KRA, pay principal tax.
Okay.
If you pay principal tax, your interest and a penalty are forgiven. And someone would ask, so what if I don't have money to pay my principal tax? I say it's okay. If you go to the KRA website, you can actually propose on the form to have a payment plan. So you can say, I don't have the money now, but if you give me 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I will be able to pay this principal tax in these installments. So as long as you pay that, you agree to the payment plan, and you pay it before the 31st. I'll confirm the dates on the act, but I think it's before the 31st of July next year. Then, when you complete paying the principal tax, because you had applied for amnesty, all your interests and penalties will be forgiven.
You make this sound so easy.
Because it's easy. Because it's easy.
Like that?
It's just like that.
You don't need to know anybody. You don't need to beg anybody. You don't need to...
You don't need to go to a tribunal.
You don't go to the tribunal.
Nothing.
You don't need to do anything. It's as easy as just going to the website.
You're just saying, mimi nimekosa, nimefanya dhambi, then that's it.
Kusema, nimekosa mimi.
Nimekosa
sana.
And just do that and that's it.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. 28 minutes to 9. Kenya's biggest conversation, hosting the Honorable Kuria Kimani, Member of Parliament for Molo Constituency, Chairman of the Finance and Planning Committee of the National Assembly. In the very, very controversial Finance Act, there were some good things. One of the good things is what we're discussing this morning, tax amnesty. So there's an automatic tax amnesty that has been introduced here, and KRA saying, everybody take advantage of this tax amnesty. That's what we are learning about today. Amnesty what? Is it international? 29 to 9.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
Now I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room,
Kenya's biggest conversation.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi, 16 degrees, highs of 25, and we'll see lows of 16. Looking into a cloudy Nyeri at 17, highs of 25, and mostly cloudy in Nakuru at 17, going to highs of 23. Eldoret will see highs of 24, where it's mostly sunny at 18. And we're looking into a partly sunny Mombasa, going to highs of 32, and into Malindi, we'll see highs of 32 as well, currently sunny at 29. All right, into Kisumu. It is cloudy this morning, partly sunny at 23, highs of 29, and Kakamega is partly sunny at 21, going to highs of 28. Kampala this morning is sunny at 20 with highs of 27, and Dar es Salaam will see highs of 31, where it's mostly sunny at 28. Johannesburg sunny at 16, and Lagos clear at 25, with mostly sunny conditions in Kinshasa.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Okay, so into the CBDs where most of it's happening this morning. A little bit of movement coming in from Upper Hill and then touching on Haile Selassie at the junction, but it's normal at this time. On the Thika Superhighway, traffic then is now opening up. But then it's heavy as you're coming through Survey, going then towards the Pangani underpass. There's movement on Limuru Road, but there's a hold-up in some parts as well. Whatever's happening, going across Wayaki Way, coming in from James Gishore, is still heavy as you touch on Kuna Road and then into Lower Kabete and then out towards Spring Valley. And Ruaka is also very busy, touching on United Nations Avenue. Creeping along, we know the road construction is going on there, so morning traffic will be a nightmare. It'll open up soon enough, though. We'll be here for it. Let's know what's going on where you are. Let's talk SpiceFM, KE on X.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. Everything nice.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94 point.
MP talking about tax amnesty, and KRA is telling you take advantage of this tax amnesty. It's in law, all right? And Mheshimiwa, you just taught us the basics. If you have principal plus penalty plus interest, apply, commit to paying the principal, the penalty and interest will be waived. Is it in all categories of taxes?
Unfortunately not. It's okay. Let me rephrase that. It is all category of taxes, apart from taxes that, for example, are in dispute. So you probably did a self-assessment on your tax, but KRA came and did an assessment of your taxes, and the taxes owed by you, you're not able to agree with the KRA officers. Mm-hmm. So that means that
there's a dispute there.
There's a dispute. So unless you resolve that dispute, that you agree that this is how much debt I owe, then you don't qualify. Mm. But if you agree that this is if you agree with the KRA officers, and I really encourage you, because KRA is doing a lot of retraining, of their staff, and taking taxpayers as their clients, rather than, for example, how maybe the police will treat you, like how they come and police you, or kajo. and so you can have a conversation, and once you agree how much your outstanding debt is, then all of that principal tax and you agree on a payment plan or paid, then you qualify for full amnesty on interest, on penalties, on what you've agreed on. But you recall, we have the East African Community, ECMA, and those will be mostly custom taxes that are agreed upon by the East African Community. So if the taxes that you owe relates to custom, relates to EAC, then of course that goes beyond the border, so doesn't qualify.
Okay.
But it's any principal tax, and I'll really tell you, filing of returns That's why many people get caught. Because, essentially you ask yourself, my company didn't do any business for the whole year. So why do you have to
file taxes?
And unfortunately, if you don't file, you're penalized.
Yeah.
For those people that are VAT agents, again, maybe that month you didn't sell anything. So you yes, or even for owners of businesses, the owners of paying their taxes and making sure that they file the correct reports lies with mostly the accounting officers, the accountants. So maybe your accountant forgot.
That's it.
And so because they forgot, sorry,
the owner of the company,
who's the owner of the PIN, has a tax liability. So we're encouraging the owners of the business, visit KRA website, visit a tax service office, visit Huduma Center where there will be a KRA agent, look at what your tax obligation is, let them print for you a statement, tell you this is what you owe, and in that report, or interests or penalties, they will do a credit on your ledger and it's gone. Gone.
Okay. It seems an awful lot like, KRA is trying to make it a little bit easier for individuals to operate, especially now with this cloud of, potential penalties and interest hanging over heads. So are we saying that there's a situation that would be created by you having maybe ignored unintentionally what could have been an issue, or having gone to explain what might have gone wrong? So why? I mean, it may sound like an obvious answer, but then why would KRA want to make it easier for folks then to be able to just come and say, well, you've got a big bill, but if you come and explain to me, I can basically wipe it away? I mean, why? Because KRA, again, is in the business of collecting these taxes. But here we are saying that KRA will just say, okay, Kimani, come and explain to me what has happened, and we can make this all go away.
And it's not KRA doing this. This has been enabled by the Finance Act of 2023. So if you need to credit anybody, that should be Parliament.
Oh, so it's an opportunity to pat Parliament on the back for doing what it's supposed to do.
It's a pat on the back for Parliament for standing up to as being people's representatives. Because when you're doing public participation on the finance bill, now the Finance Act, that was a key concern to many Kenyans. And I've given you my personal example. When you're applying for your PIN, because you need to apply for PIN for anything, somebody, for example, is buying land in the village, and they're told, for you to buy land and for you to now have this land transferred to you, what's your KRA PIN? Then they ask, what's my KRA? What's that?
What's a PIN?
What's a PIN? Then I told, no, there's something you need to do. So what do I need to do? Then they said, if you go to in Molo, if you go to a town called Elbagon, there's the cyber called kwa Cairo cyber. So enda kwa Cairo. Utapewa. So you go to the cyber, and the guy at the cyber helps.
Creates an account for you.
Creates an account for you. So you don't know what this guy is doing.
Yeah.
But you need this PIN.
Yeah. And this
prints
guy
out something.
Yeah. And this guy is not a tax expert or anything. He doesn't even know what he is doing.
He just tax obligations for you.
Yeah. So it is VAT. So you become a VAT withholding agent without your knowledge. So KRA on the other side, they're like, we have a new KRA withholding agent.
It's a Cairo guy.
This KRA withholding agent is a Cairo guy who has no idea that is registered for VAT.
Oh my goodness.
And as a result, that PIN start accumulating penalties and interest. Because KRA is asking themselves, this Cairo guy, why is he not paying VAT?
The problem is when you get any notification from KRA, the first reaction is to go into a panic. It's something we've asked. Are there ways, there was a time, I think it was last year, KRA was out on this blitz. They were really going all out to try and communicate and I'm not sure they're still doing it, but it was a good thing because KRA are a scary lot.
There's a lot of confusion on what KRA is and what they're supposed to do, and sometimes, just like in all agencies, whether you go to the media or whether you go to any profession, you find rogue officers. So they will exist in like you have them in every institution, and of course now the bad people will have a bad reflection of an organization or an institution, and therefore that's why when it's like fine. Let's give an example of Kanjo. It's like now we were treated the other day to this Kanjo guy who got a free ride in the city.
Yeah, that was fun.
Baby.
Let's go.
The guy went, I think it was Robert Kitengelo or something. But that lady got carried. Let me say that. But you see, as a result, it's tempting to perceive the whole Kanjo people as being like that officer.
Are they not?
That's one.
Have you ever encountered these kinds of officers?
They are bad ones, but
there are some good ones.
There's
some good ones.
It's only in some institutions, the bad are many.
Now where do you
in some institutions, the bad are few.
Let me give an example that you will relate with. So, last Parliament, I meet this guy, and he tells me he works with the Standard, okay? And he would interview me and tell me, hey, Mheshimiwa, we want to know what's happening in Molo. We're running a story on the Standard. And then he has a recorder and a notebook, and he would...
Did he show you an ID?
He actually had an ID.
Okay.
And then we would do a complete interview. Now check the Standard tomorrow, page 3. I've talked with the editor. My friend, I will buy the Standard. The following. Of course.
Did you ask which Standard?
Now we understand why there was an increase in circulation. Mheshimiwa went and told his 10 best friends to buy the...
Did you ask which Standard?
Yes, which Standard?
Or whose Standard?
And I'm told, the Standard newspaper. And then he tell you, this is my ID. So, and usually when someone flashes their ID, you don't get to...
No, you don't scrutinize it.
Even if you scrutinize it, you do not know the ID the Standard issues. So it's tough.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So you have nothing to
go by.
Yeah.
So this guy, and then he said, now see you to buy lunch. And it's okay. As in, it's okay. I assume we met and we had lunch together. So
yes.
Bana, kumbe jamani.
Tapeli.
I doubt that. I think he reads the Standard with me. Like he doesn't.
He's an entrepreneur.
So those rogue officers will exist in every institution, whether it is KRA, whether it is in politics, whether it is in the media, whether it is in the medical fraternity, whether it's in insurance, they will all exist. So be wary of these officers. For example, KRA recently recruited revenue call them revenue assistants, revenue mobilization assistants.
The KRA police.
The revenue assistants.
Mobilization. In uniform.
The revenue assistants. So essentially, it's a very important group because KRA is trying to have these officers come to you, business, and educate you how to be compliant.
Yeah.
So that you do not find yourself that you have to pay penalties or you have to pay interest or you accumulate debts that you did not know existed. So they visit your business. So they tell you that based on your sales, you should be paying turnover tax.
Why did they get them uniforms?
So that for easy identification.
So that you can identify them.
To remove rogues.
Ati?
Matapeli wasikuja kwa
uniform.
Mimi ni revenue agent.
See, unajua sasa ndio kuwe tapeli wa hawa watu lazima ushoneshe uniform.
Kwa ni ngumu.
At least uta struggle. Lazima utafute fundi.
At least it's a barrier. Plus you're exposing yourself. If the real one's actually spotted, you'll be like,
nah, that's not our uniform.
Eric, in a country...
it's okay. Don't take us to the cop guy.
Okay.
We know.
Okay. I rest the case.
The cop guy, yes.
Yeah. So essentially, the uniform is supposed to be an identifier, but you're also informing Kenyans that don't just trust the uniform, because as you rightly put it, I could just go to a fundi. You can go to your plug, and your plug can make you the uniform, but insist on them showing you their ID, and then you can use the KRA is now coming up with an called USSD code, like the star something, where you can just do and verify whether this
is
actually
genuine ID,
a KRA officer. And the essence is that they're not coming to force you. They're not going to come in to police you. It's about how do we help you be compliant, because there's a huge gap between what businesses or what taxpayers are supposed to pay and what they know.
Which why I'm taking this position? It's a strong anti-KRA move position, specifically to highlight one thing. There is a process that KRA began which was extremely useful in educating people. Educating isn't saying it once, it appearing in the paper once, the Commissioner General saying it once. That's not what it is. If there was a concerted effort, so that when you see them, you know exactly, because you've been told and you understand and you know. You see, there are people who know. We're talking about Kanjo. I know personally Kanjo police or enforcement officers who are very humane and very pleasant. Very. And they even help you. But I've come across some really nasty pieces of work. Okay? Now, I'm simply saying that by the time a service force gets a reputation for being unpleasant, it is not because of one person. It is certain repeated activities over a period of time. That's why that particular reputation sticks. Now, KRA is not an institution that is difficult to talk to. No, they're not. But how many people know and understand this? Especially if you are in my age bracket and you grew up in the days of income tax. Okay? It wasn't Kenya Revenue Authority, it was income tax.
Department of Income Tax.
If you got a letter, for heaven's sake, you might as well want to leave the country briefly before you come back and then read the letter after you've read. What I'm trying to say is, for compliance to be made the norm, there are certain things that people need to understand. You see, these taxes are meant for our benefit. The compliance is supposed to help you. Now, there are other things attached to it, but if you want to enforce something by creating laws and more enforcement, do you really think that by doing this you'll actually achieve the goal that you intended to? See, there has to be a communication of a benefit that somebody also derives from this for them to understand why this thing is so important. If they don't, you can have these officers who will be doing an excellent job, but you will not realize the gains that you're hoping to realize.
I can't agree with you more, and this is a call to all KRA officers across the country, that the concerns Kenyans have, taxpayers have, is that sometimes they don't wear a human heart. That sometimes they're not, when they approach the taxpayers, they don't approach them as their customers.
Yeah.
Because really, those are your clientele. So your demeanor, the way you talk to them, the way you address them should be, I am coming to be of service to you. And that's why there were calls to even just change the name from the
Authority.
Kenya Revenue Authority to Kenya Revenue Service. But having said that, we have millions of, we have thousands of diligent KRA officers, the best. And you'll find that because if you check on the trend on their movement, you'll find that especially for the big, what we call the big fours, the big audit firms, KPMG, Deloitte and Touche, KPMG, PwC, anybody who studied accounting or finance, we all wanted to work for the Big Four.
Mm.
But you'll find that the Big Four will usually go to look for human resources from KRA.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, almost everyone I know who is a partner or director or key personnel in both the Big Four and the big banks worked with KRA, which tells you that if the best institutions in the world,
are poaching from
KRA, that tells you the quality of human resource,
that's in
of the
KRA.
skills that exist in KRA. And so that's why I really dissuade Kenyans. There are a few rogue ones.
There'll be rogue ones in every
institution.
I actually feel for the institution, because the job that the institution does is not an easy one. You're coming to collect money from me. I am trying to save every penny so that I can put it into other uses, either to pay school fees for my children, to live my life. And you're coming to tell me, no, you need to pay some to Caesar. And then there's a whole conversation, just like even in the comments this morning, we should be discussing what our taxes do before you talk about paying taxes. That's the first thing that you think. But why am I paying this tax? What value am I getting from the tax? And yet it's not the agency's job to utilize the tax. Their job is basically just to collect the tax. So they're in a very bad situation. Even if they are coming to tell you, this is what your obligation for income tax. Let's talk about how you need to be paying. Oh, you need to be, every quarter you should be paying. People are like,
please.
You're already blocking. And now here you are, they're coming to tell you, by the way, you owe us because you did not, and then there's a penalty. It goes south.
And really, I can't agree with you, Mom. And yes, the last 2 days, the day before yesterday, today, and tomorrow, there is a conference going on at Radisson in Upper Hill on how to control illicit flow of funds in Africa. Where it's bringing 46 countries across Africa to have this conversation. I had a chance to speak to the conference yesterday morning, and I told them, if any country is not able to generate resources for funding their budget, they cannot claim to be sovereign. They cannot claim to be independent. And so paying our tax obligations is a way towards financing our budget, and that is a ticket to our sovereignty.
I agree with you 100%, Moishimiwa, but then you also see so there's a direct link then in making that call, but then even more so, there must be an even tighter link to then how these collected funds will then show what is being done. And if you cannot make the link between what is collected and what is actually being done, I think that undermines sovereignty completely. And so, I think what's happening here is fantastic, because we're looking at legislating a particular thing to say, let's make it a little bit easier for folks who may have lost the plot, essentially, with what you're supposed to be doing when you pay your tax, and let's give you some amnesty. But the behavior is something that you cannot legislate on. And I think it must also be taken into consideration. Can you have a hybrid kind of legislation where you say, yes, absolutely, let's make life a little bit easier for Kenyans who did not know, who found themselves in a difficult way when it came to paying these taxes. But at the same time, can the overall attitude then be one of we're actually attempting to foster this kind of development? And I don't know if those are conversations that actually play in the minds of the legislature.
Yeah, and if you look at the overall Finance Act, because again, this amnesty is possible courtesy of the Finance Act of 2023. An act where if you meet an average Kenyan, they probably will tell you that probably they are opposed to it or whatever they're saying. But this is what we're saying. Don't let politics of a day overtake the good legislation that we are doing. And not just that. Fertilizer prices to last year were at 6,700. This year is at 2,500. Why is that possible? It is a Finance Act of 2023.
What's it doing?
Because by zero rating, all manufacturing, zero rating means you remove all the taxes on manufacture of fertilizer, made it possible not just to reduce the prices on fertilizer, but most importantly, have that fertilizer locally manufactured. And so we have many manufacturers in Kenya who have now turned into manufacturing this fertilizer, and therefore most of the fertilizer that we're consuming
is local
as a country, is local manufactured. So what that do? That creates jobs, that reduces the cost of production, and that enhances our food security. And these are some of the things that we are saying. We are a responsible administration. We are a responsible parliament. We are a responsible Committee of Finance and National Planning. And that is why we are extending these benefits to Kenyans. And just to wind it up, you don't need to do anybody. You don't need to talk to anybody.
All you need to do is go to your iTax.
Is go to your iTax, apply for amnesty, and amnesty looks like a big English word. Inamaanisha forgiveness, and all your penalties and interest
shall be forgiven.
Will be forgiven.
Kuria Kimani, thank you. Let's go to the news. 9 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. The Sengwer community living in the counties of Trans Nzoia, Pokot West, Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo and Nakuru is now asking President William Ruto to give the community an ID card to be officially recognized by the government. Speaking in Kitale, the community spokesperson Dixon Rotich said these will enable the community to benefit from government resources.
Tupatiwe ID code ya jamii ya Sengwer. Kama kabila ina 46, sisi tuwe katika orodha ya 47. Serikali tu tuangalie na tusaidie. Serikali ya Ruto si ndio imechukua nafasi. Sasa system ya serikali iko mrefu. Itengeneze hizo barabara sisi tuweze kufaulu. Imetuadhiri kwa njia moja, hatupati mkao ya serikali kama mambo ya pesa ila usawazishaji. Na pia hatupati nafasi za uajiri. Na pia hatuna system yoyote ambaye tunaweza kufaidika kwa njia moja ama nyingine katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. Na sisi ni wa Kenya, na sisi ni jamii. Kama Wapemba walitambuliwa na Sengwer sasa ambaye ni wa Kenya kamili. Ruto nini mbaya, saidia sisi.
Rotich has also urged the county governments to allocate special employment opportunities for the youth from the community who are qualified for the said jobs.
Katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, jamii ya Sengwer hawana county, hawana hata sub county, na tuko katika county 3 mpaka 10. Tuko West Pokot, Trans Nzoia na Elgeyo Marakwet mpaka Nakuru, Baringo, pande ile yote. Sasa ilikuwa naomba serikali wakati wanaajiri vijana kazi, watutengee nafasi ya vijana. Wakikuja West Pokot wapatie Sengwer nafasi, wakienda Trans Nzoia wapatie, Elgeyo Marakwet wapatie, mahali wako wapatiwe. Kwa sababu sasa hii mambo ya counties inaanza kututenga ambaye sio mzuri. Kwa hivyo tufikirie kama jamii tupatiwe.
On a side note, and a family in Lainimoja village in Tongaren constituency, Bungoma County is demanding justice after their one-day-old son disappeared mysteriously, with allegations suggesting that he was allegedly mauled by stray dogs shortly after birth. The family says that they want the body of their loved one if their boy was indeed killed by a dog.
Sister mwingine akaniita akaniambia, mami, unasikia? Umbwa ilibeba mtoto. Kama uko na roho mzuri kama ya machunga, kwa nini unafanya hivi? Umbwa ndio ilibeba huyu mtoto, tujui pale aliye. Sasa nikawauliza, mtoto mwenyewe ako wapi? Yule alikufa. Niende nizike? Hakuna. Nikawaambia, niambieni ukweli ukeruweni. Kwa sababu mtaki hata mimi niongee na msichana. Mnaniambia msichana siwendi uulize yeye maswali nyingi. Nikiendelea wananifukuza pale kwa usiwa na niambia fanya nini? Toka nje.
Area residents are now asking the hospital officials to take responsibility, insisting that they have been professionalism in the hospital in the recent days.
Mpaka umbwa inakuja inachukua mtoto ambaye amezaliwa. Dr. Shivachi aende nyumbani na watu wote wahusika wote kuanzia kwa hospital administrator wote waende nyumbani. Sasa walikuwa wapi? Na sasa wanataka kutuambia nini? Kuna watu wengi sana wamekufia hapa. Hata kuna wakati mmoja mtoto ambaye alikuwa anafanya na mpunge akaingia hapo na akakufa.
Parents in Baharini and Tawe areas in Lamu West constituency are concerned of excessive use of narcotics and the increase in violence against children in the said areas. According to them, unemployment has become the main source for young people to indulge in the use of narcotics, a situation that contributes to the increase in cases of child abuse.
Hiyo kwanza ndio imekita mizizi hapa, kwa sababu kama eneo hili ambao ni Bahari location zipo sehemu za kunywa pombe ama zijulikanazo kama mangwe ni nyingi sana. Unakuta vijana sahii kienda kibarua pesa zake hata havai. Yeye jioni wanaenda joint wanakutana ni kulewa. Ulevi uko hali ya juu sana mpaka familia yani hawana mafikira ya kuja kutengeneza jamii ama kujinusuru katika maisha baadaye kutengeneza jamii.
At the same time, the human rights groups have started to inform parents of those experiences and Lamu County in general on importance of education.
Ambayo walizozitaja nyingi ni ukosefu wa kazi au ukosefu wa ajira, ukosefu wa elimu. Kwa hivyo tuliwapatia mbinu, maana siku hizi kila mtu hawezi kuajiriwa na serikali. Tulielezea kitu muhimu sana, vijana ni wapewe mbinu mambo kama mikopo na zinginezo ili wajiajiri wao wenyewe, wafanya biashara. Pindi wakifanya biashara wanaweza kujimudu maisha ya hivi saizi na baadaye. Vile vile pia wapewe ujuzi, kwa sababu nchi zilizoendelea sana vijana wanapewa zile vyuo vya ufundi.
Kenya's Meteorological Department has issued a flash floods alert in northeastern Kenya. According to a statement, the department listed Loglogo, the Balgis River in Marsabit and the Marsabit-Isiolo Road as the areas most adversely affected. The agency also added that rainfall will be expected to continue in various parts of the country, with isolated storms likely in the central highlands and northeastern Kenya. The department is urging residents to exercise caution. This is News. I'm Dennis Aseta. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Okay, a little bit left on Jogo Road, but this morning has not been crazy in terms of traffic at all. We're also seeing movement on the Thika Superhighway, then coming past Survey, so that's going to edge out quickly. Ruaka is still busy. Also looking at traffic on Chiromo as you approach the city, coming out of Westlands, that still continues to be a thing. So traffic is moving. It's going to bunch up in some parts, but more, we'll be able to get out of traffic hour soon. And it hasn't been, again, too busy. Just in case anything does jump out at you, let us know. SpiceFM KE on X.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching
up. How are you doing? Welcome to the final hour of the Situation Room. Thank you very much for keeping it locked. It's Thursday, the 26th of October, 2023. It's day 4 of Zari on Maisha Magic Plus. And then, it's week 2 has ended, or week 3 of the other one, Kasiri.
This is week 3.
Week 3, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Of Kasiri. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m.
Yep.
And then Zari, 8:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. My friend.
Good stuff on your TV.
Aye.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a situation whereby a child was given to someone else at birth, because I know we can't have this shame on us. You raised the child. 20 years later, you want your child back. The people who brought up the child, they say, excuse me? No, actually, we want to keep. So now that's where the story begins. And we want to see now, where have we reached today?
Mvurutano.
I'm telling you, it's a big something. 8:30 p.m. You need to tune into DSTV channel 163 or GoTV channel 3, 8:30 tonight, and see how this story is unfolding for the 4th episode of this premiere that happened on Monday. It's Zari. Dial *423# or download my DSTV or my GoTV app and see how you can stay connected. Story you don't want to miss.
Kabisa. City.
Yes, please.
Remind us today's proverb.
Yes. Asifuye mvua.
That word, you're really going slowly on that. Why? What's your fear?
Because my tongue keeps sliding.
What's Sufia?
You see? Basi. Next thing you're going to hear Sufria. I said, Asifuye. Because you see, my mind is grappling with Kusifu, and then is trying to add, and Asifuye.
Oh, you think it's Sifunye?
Asifue mvua. Yeah, the hesitation and the pausing and the exclamation marks as I speak are because my mind is sorting it out.
Trying to sort it out.
Yes, so I'm pronouncing it slowly so that I don't slip. Okay?
Of course.
Asifue mvua. See, I'm doing it again.
Well done.
Okay? Imemnyea.
Asifue mvua.
Imemnyea.
It's a nice one. It's a straightforward one.
Absolutely straightforward.
Gotten good interpretations so far.
Actually, the interpretations have been wonderful.
Yes, indeed.
They've been wonderful. Spot on.
How do you interpret what's happening in Meru County?
No.
Yesterday, members of the county assembly
once again
voted to impeach their governor.
And it was not a question of are you? No, 59 MCAs voted, and they all voted
out of 69.
Those who were saying no did not come.
The no people did not come.
So
let's assume that they were
basically
no.
did not say no.
They did not say no. Because in your absence, we cannot then determine what it is that you were going to say. Right? Now, she has been impeached for the second time in 10 months. I mean, for goodness sake. After all, 59 ward reps present supported a motion tabled by the majority leader, Evans Mawira. However, 10 MCAs who opposed the impeachment process were not present at the assembly. So it's possible that they too would have voted yes. If not, they did not have to go to the dentist or they didn't have a meeting, things like that. Now, Speaker Ayobundi allowed debate on the motion to proceed after affirming that 64 out of 69 MCAs had appended their signatures, hence meeting the threshold needed for the tabling of such proceedings. So we know that there are a further 5 of them who had appended their signature. They just were not present. So either way, this thing was flying. An attempt by the governor's lawyers to stop the debate on various technicalities was ignored. We heard Dan Stonomari saying, actually, the name on this document says Bishop. So it is not. We're not even talking about who is Bishop Mwangaza. This is the governor.
My client
is
not
Kawira Mwangaza, not Bishop Mwangaza. So we're not even talking about the same person. Technicality. They were listened to and they said, beg, stop it.
Morome kajini, wacha tu discuss. Tutakuita.
So that didn't happen, and they were told, "Thank you very much. Just come and go and be sitting down." Governor Mwangaza was first impeached by the county assembly in December last year, as we were going for Christmas. Remember that thing? We need to go for Christmas. We need to come back and sit and listen. Impeached. She went to the Senate. Impeached. Went to the Senate. Senate said, "Pana. No, really. Guys, come on. It's not necessary.
Please.
Just let her go back and do her work."
Okay.
Members of the county assembly said, "Okay, no problem. We can continue working. Happy New Year, everybody. We've come back." No sooner than they now said, "Shebi, people see what we've been telling you all this time. She's still hiring her brothers and sisters. She's still sending her cousins to go to the bank to remove money. She's misappropriating, mismanagement, abuse of office, anything plus the kitchen sink they threw at her." And they said, impeachment is what? Impeachment is coming. And true to their word, yesterday, they went and they voted and they said,
impeachment.
Thank you very much. She's accused of misappropriation and misuse of county resources, nepotism and unethical acts, vilification and demeaning of other leaders, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. I told you, plus the kitchen sink. Other accusations are contempt of court, illegal naming of a public road after her husband, and contempt of the assembly. Now, Mr. Mawira, who was the mover of this impeachment motion, said the grounds against the governor were gross and well substantiated. You remember when we were going to the Supreme Court and we had lorries of documents? This one. They also said our evidence is immovable. We
unshakable.
I'm telling you, We have everything to show that this woman actually did like that. And so when they said vote everybody's hand, even before they said, can you say aye? Everybody did like this. And they had no choice
Move
but
the
to what?
question. Move the question.
Please. So,
Out. Neja.
she was represented in the assembly by several lawyers led by Danstan Omari and Mr. Elias Mutuma. They dismissed the motion as defective and insufficient. So all this threshold that you people said you've met, the lawyer said...
What else did you expect them to say?
But of course.
Did you expect them to agree with?
You see, after the first impeachment and the whole debacle in the Senate and the Senate voting to retain her, there was then concerted effort by other leaders from this region to bring peace to Meru County. Remember, the Deputy Speaker of the Senate is the Senator for Meru County. The Minister for Agriculture is from Meru County. And other leaders from Meru County. Okay? The Deputy President has been very keen on, wanting to be the Baba of Mount Kenya. So, Deputy President chaired several meetings, listened to MCAs, listened to elected MPs and Senator. They listened to the governor herself and then said, people, let's move forward. Please, let's work in peace. But MCAs went back. After kidogo, they came back with the same issues. Now, other politicians have joined that fray. Other politicians like Mburu Apuri, Medeka Linturi and others coming in. Mburu Apuri actually just coming expressly to say, Kawira mustn't go. And that's it. Gets to a point where now even the Deputy President was like, okay, kama ni hivyo, hii tumeachia Mungu.
Ni yenu na Mungu.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the man who spearheaded, tried to spearhead peace in Meru County, basically said, let the margin of Besheni. Washed his hands and said, Sasa, I Rigathi Pontius, Joffrey. He let the people decide.
The people have decided, though. But this thing is it really a witch hunt? Did they decide from the very beginning that this woman would not be the governor of this county?
Are there other external forces?
Absolutely. So now you want to ask yourself the question, were these accusations that have been leveled against her actually meeting the threshold for this impeachment? Were they personal issues, or would you actually look through the county operations and activities, and in terms of these allegations made against her, would you actually find that they would hold water? Or was it folks who just say, you know what, this chick rubbed me the wrong way from the get-go and I'm not playing this game?
By the way,
I don't want.
We do have inside information. We do. And it was presented here in the studio.
By Okio Mtata of Meru.
Yes, Selassie told us with clarity.
Yes.
That yes, because we asked the question, what happens if the Senate doesn't agree with it? It's okay. It's okay. If they don't agree with us, there is a requisite period of time that we must wait before we bring the motion again. We will wait. And then we will bring it again. And what if said we will keep bringing it, just so that we don't continue debating this thing?
We will make it our life's mission.
Yes.
To keep, in fact, you wake up in the morning. So, in fact, Linda is asking here, these people in Mary, when do they work? Because it seems as though all they're doing is looking for. She woke up today in the morning. It's like there's somebody calling, excuse me, Leo, miamuka na mefanya hivi na hivi. But we're writing it down. On one side, it would look like that. On the other side, it would then look as though, actually, you know what? She's the governor. So she can do what she damn well pleases. If she wants to appoint her husband, as CT would ask,
what's the problem?
She wants to make her cousin the one who goes to the bank to withdraw money for the county.
Where's the problem?
Is the cousin not a citizen of Meru?
Yes. Sure.
Are we not doing the work?
Is she not a citizen of Meru?
I can even arrest myself and enter into the police Land Rover.
Sure. But you know, there's something here that has remarkable similarities with a different county. She has a deputy. This deputy governor, there were issues. He's not just a lame duck deputy. He just comes to work.
He was even transferred. Wafanya hivi.
Go and nestle there And while you're there, perhaps you can look for something useful to do. Okay, perhaps. Kericho County had a similar problem. Governor Eric Mutai and his deputy, Fred Kirui, had similar issues. Simple. Fred Kirui said, we had agreed.
Pre-election.
Yeah, we had agreed that we'd be sharing this thing. We get this thing. This guy takes everything. And I am now irrelevant. This one, the president himself had to intervene, by the way, on this matter.
And sent Rigi.
And told him, you guys. So this one, at least, the governor of Kericho seemed to be making moves. He's given somebody who's in charge of serious things like sanitary.
He has reorganized his cabinet to accommodate the deputy.
Yes.
There's some.
Well, it's token.
Some semblance of at least some.
It's token.
Let's see what Kirui says.
When I say it's token, when they say they were going to share 50-50 in appointments, this is not what I read here. This is not 50-50. But at least there's some attempt.
Indeed.
Now, let's go back to Meru. Okay.
In terms of the allegations that have been leveled against her, that have been made, can we hold this up? Can we put this vis-a-vis the work that we say should or should not have been done?
What are these allegations?
All of these things now. Okay, let me remind you. I will do it one by one.
Yes.
One by one, beginning from the
Explanation.
beginning.
What are the charges against?
Coco, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Now, you can decide that a county resource is money. You can decide that a county resource is offices. You can decide that a county resource is humans, that you can use them to be, doing your bidding, personally or otherwise. That they've accused her. It is not today or yesterday. It is constantly, every day she does this, and it is wrong. Nepotism. Hire your cousin, hire your husband. In fact, create a department that is run by your husband. I mean, surely. Could you not find anybody else? If you felt that this department was absolutely necessary for the government, for the county, is it only your husband then that would have run this department? And then we have events, the entertainment, because your husband plays guitar, you now give him the entertainment docket and then pay him using county resources. Come on. If anything else wants to show for nepotism as well as misappropriation of county resources, it is that. In fact, if there was a book for wrongdoing and it needed an illustration, that is the picture that would be right there. Shall I continue?
Can I just comment on this matter of nepotism, even as
Please.
we move along swiftly?
Yes.
The very setting up of county governments has an inbuilt capacity and an opposition for nepotism. Because every county, essentially, belongs to the people, the natives of that particular place. Now,
it is ours.
Yes, it is theirs. Exactly theirs. Now, the governor, being a citizen of that said place, is very likely to employ people he knows and trusts. I'm speaking generically.
Okay, generically he.
Yes,
got it.
He, they. Okay? Them. Now, maybe this governor has taken it to a completely different level, but I like what she has done because she's showing us the extent to which unbridled power can actually take one. All right? And how it is one interprets the Constitution and the powers that are given, that are laid in therein for the governor. But does it then not also raise the question we've raised on many occasions, this job of governor and the people who get it, okay?
Do they have the
when
capacity?
we see, please continue. Is it really her fault? Because, no, I'm asking the question genuinely.
Okay.
You know when something is beyond you, you'll do very strange things. In an attempt to show that you have a grasp on it and you're doing what it is you're supposed to do. Just look across this country and look at our counties. The things governors have done, okay? You marvel. Is it lack of knowledge? And that, of course, now segues into the question of capacity. Is it a specific training like National Youth, as Mheshimiwa Kure is suggesting, should be given to all governors? The moment you are elected as governor, you're taking for some 2 months NYS. Yes.
Yeah.
So when you come on, at least we know now that you can actually
handle the pressure.
Yes, we know.
Indeed. They still go on further, CT.
Please go on.
They talk about unethical acts. Now, as far as your mind may be able to wander, please let it wander, because this is what they've said actually she was operating in. Vilification and demeaning of other leaders. Other leaders obviously here, meaning the members of the county assembly, because she made them feel like house girls and house boys, and it's not fair. We are
that's not befitting their stature.
Surely we've been elected by the people. Are you joking? Also, they've told her that she's made illegal appointments, and she has also been accused of the usurpation of statutory powers. She's used her position as the governor to, just issue edicts anyhowly, and they are not accepting of this. Other accusations are contempt of court. Court asked her to show up or make some kind of statement. She didn't make. Wasting my time. Illegal naming of a public road after her husband said, "Darling, this you've done well for the county. We can name this road after you." They said, "What? Sorry." They had to go through many processes, and we did not see those things happen. Be it public participation, be it going through the county process to make sure that this is actually acceptable. It didn't happen. So now those are the kind of things that we are talking about. Next thing we know is you will name Meru Stadium Mwangaza Stadium just because you're the governor. No. And then contempt of the assembly, always regarding us as lower, and we don't like it. All of these things have been happening. And they said, you know what? It's about time. The question then that comes about is, will the Senate, who then holds the power to then convict after trial, will they find her guilty of these things that she's accused of? Remembering the unique position that senators hold. It's aspirational in nature. And are they going to want to be on the chopping block should that ever happen to them? It'll go down in history. It will be remembered. Will they also find that truly these things that they accuse this lady of doing, has she really done them? To the point whereby she doesn't serve to be, or doesn't deserve to be, the governor anymore. Do the people of Meru who elected her to do this job also feel that she has failed them in this manner? Because that, at the end of the day, it's a very important factor to recognize or to acknowledge, because they did vote her in. The people of Meru seem to sing her praises from the day we see, even just last week when she was,
Maybe what she should do, actually, what she should have done is try to do what Kivuza Kibwana tried to do.
Say fine. Folks.
Let's all go
Dissolve the county government.
Let's do fresh
Simple.
elections.
Yeah.
Let the people speak.
Yep. And then throw that whole matter now not at your Senate. William Ruto, you're the president. You will make that the decision.
Let the people
because
decide.
that whole journey of, a county governor, when there's all this thing that is actually hampering service delivery, can
when do you work?
we have reached political deadlock.
Yeah.
And what we ought to be doing is let's go back to the people. All of us. I as the governor and all elected MCAs, let's have by-elections en masse in this county. And let those that convince the people come back with a fresh mandate. The president, upon receiving that, because the governor has to write to the president, then the president appoints a team to actually review what has been listed by the governor and to listen to the people and make a recommendation. The president can then go by that recommendation or make his own. So that whole matter, by the way, Kawira Mwangaza should have taken to Ruto straight. I want us to go back to the people.
Maybe she took it to Ruto.
Let us vote directly.
But didn't she follow your advice? That's on president.
Maybe. It's his idea. Maybe the president has said what. But maybe the people of Meru should be given that direct mandate to say, are we with Kawira Mwangaza or not?
And once they speak,
when she's distributing cows, distributing cows in the villages when she's distributing gumboots and all those things.
And blankets.
Are the voters of Meru happy with this? Or are they not?
Have you seen any of them rejecting
when
these
she
gifts?
says, my deputy Mutoy, I am the one, I am the governor, I've been given the power, you do not have power, I will assign you duties all to assist me. If she says, assist me by occupying that office,
please go and assist that office. Go there and
maybe the people of Meru should actually.
I think they should weigh. I personally think they ought to weigh in on this thing.
Too much.
Because look, when this woman is in the public arena, the support that she seems to get from the people, I don't think that can be manufactured in how we've seen it. The other day when she did or did not arrest herself, The people who came to start shouting in her favor, was it manufactured? I mean, could it have been in such a short period of time? I think it is absolutely necessary here that, remember, we did have a conversation, and we also heard that the Council of Governors head, what are they called? Chair, and Waigoro said, you know what, this thing of impeachments, any small thing that happens, we rush to impeach.
There should be time.
There should be time.
No, that law should not be amended.
She said that...
I agree with you, Eric. Amended why?
She said that, first of all,
allow us to work.
Give us 1 year to work before you start thinking about impeachment. Then after that, by the time we finish working for 2 years, if you want to, we are going towards the next election. Give us another time. You can't be throwing. You can't be throwing.
It's like the one for members of parliament, basically. That's what
of impeachment at us any minute.
Yes.
And so, as you are discussing that, how about you bring in the element
so
of the
you're
people?
ring-fencing your job essentially.
But that's all they're doing.
That's what the governors are suggesting.
That's what they're saying.
Yes.
Because any minute, because you know what you do. When will you work? Okay, think about it like this. Here's a governor who, you're supposed to be doing this today. You can't open your mouth, you can't talk. Because you say something, MCA, firing you. You're here, MCA.
Let me ask
what I would agree with if there was, a conversation about this is maybe amend and raise the threshold in the county assembly. If you said let there be a supermajority, just like in for the president, a supermajority is what impeaches a president. Let a supermajority impeach a governor. Maybe. But not just a simple majority. Maybe. But
okay. We have some 47 counties. In these 47 counties, are we hearing similar problems? Let's even half the counties, or a third of the counties, a quarter. Do we hear the same problems? No. So what are the other governors doing? Don't they have people? Are they not supposed to deliver services? What are they doing differently? Don't these counties also have MCAs? Why is it just Meru? Why?
That is what I'm telling you.
Because she has refused to do things.
She has refused to bow to any kind of pressure.
What sort of pressure?
Did she not give rise to that before in December?
Yeah.
When she actually came out and said, there are certain things these people want me to do. They want me to give my okay to spending for certain projects in the county. And I am not going to be the one to do it. And so she said
be giving them projects left, right, and center.
I won't just be giving you project. Eric, take this project today. CT, take this project tomorrow. Because we know where you're making money. I will not be the one to agree to that.
What she's telling us then, therefore, that other governors are giving MCS projects, and that's why they don't have
problems. 1 plus 1 is 2 for you, absolutely.
So let's go to Kiambu here.
That's the same issue with Kiambu.
Same thing in Kiambu.
It's the same issue with Kiambu. If you listen to the leaders of Kiambu, they're complaining the governor is not working with all the elected leaders of Kiambu. He is working independently. He is not this and the other. Well, there's some issues like he has not constituted a cabinet up to date.
But that's just, let's put that aside.
Small detail.
Small detail.
little
small matters like, CEOs and CECMs work on monthly contract.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a small matter.
So they're working. So it's monthly. Where's the problem?
Probation.
So you're being paid.
Yes. The point is this. If this was a widespread issue, then you'd say, something, Governor Anwaiguru has a point. But every time elected leaders get into positions of leadership, it's like they do not want their positions to be questioned. They do not want their actions to be questioned. And every time a little heat is brought on things that people feel that they ought to do and they're not doing, then you want to legislate something that gives you a free pass.
Sure, but if you want to look at this Mero issue, it's not a little bit of heat, CT. These fellas swore after the Senate failed to declined to convict in the last case. What did they say? No sooner than had they come out with that verdict, they said,
okay,
Tunarudi, we'll be back. They had it from the beginning. Whatever it was that needs to be soothed, they had it for her from the very beginning. So you could take it to its logical conclusion and say in these other counties where we're not hearing this hullabaloo, it's very possible that the governor is working with the county assembly.
But is it not?
You decide what working.
Is she not supposed to work with these people?
You decide what working actually means.
No, I've already decided. That's why I'm asking. Is she not supposed to? Because the thing is this, in the absence of the county, you really can't move. It's the parliament. You can talk about your CIDP, whatever you want to do. These fellows are at the heart of it.
Yep.
The subject and the matter of working or not working with them, it's a moot subject. Of course you have to work with them.
I just want to know when they get anything done in Meru.
But can they also focus on what they're supposed to be doing, not what I'm supposed to be doing?
So you do your
kila mtu akona kazi yake.
Yes, wanafanya kazi yao. And
oversight doesn't mean that you focus on what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's precisely what it means.
No.
And secondly, also, remember, if indeed you feel that what is due to you as an elected leader is not being provided, and that very thing is supposed to enable you to carry out your duties and or your functions, you have every right to complain. It can't be that 2 counties out of the 47 counties we have is where you have mad citizens and mad MCAs who can't see eye to eye with that. No. If the MCAs have a fault, their governors have an even bigger one. How are the others managing to get along? It's not we don't hear issues in these other counties. We do. But they get along. How do they get along?
I'm telling you, something scratched somewhere until today. They have not resolved it. And
this one is not going to get
resolution.
In Nairobi, the governor does not come from the majority.
He doesn't.
But he's working very well with the majority.
You don't
In fact,
even
the
hear
minority is the one that's fighting on
you
their own leadership issues.
Quick. How does that work?
Anajua kuangalia.
Anajua kuishi na watu.
Anajua kuishi na watu.
Yes.
People of Meru said, Senate mmekataa. Bado tuko na panga.
Tunarudi.
Bado panga tuko nayo. Tutamukata. Kawira, tutamukata. There she is. They have chopped again. Now we want to open the phone lines after this break. 0719-012-600. All right, so let's hear what you think about this whole drama in Meru County. You're asking, should the Meru County government be dissolved? Let everybody go back to the electorate and let them seek fresh mandate. Let's have a mini referendum in Meru on their leadership. Those that think that Kawira Mwangaza deserves to be left to stay, they will vote her back in. If she gets a majority, stays as governor. MCAs, each of them, wakelewe kwa weighing scale. Those that measure up, they'll come back. Those that don't, home.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
So who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
Windows
sleep inside.
up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk that midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
Where?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Wadau mko ready kuona magic? Nasema wadau mko ready kuona magic? Haya basi, msiblink juu sasa tumefungulia Magic na Maisha Magic Plus. Watch all the best local entertainment kama Njoroge, Uba, Salem na the all new shows Kasiri and Zari. Tumefungulia Magic. Maisha Magic Plus is now on DSTV Access channel 163 and GoTV.
Sunny conditions in Nairobi, highs of 25 and lows of 16. It'll be sunny through the day in Nakuru, 17 currently. 17 and cloudy in Nyeri with highs of 25, and we'll look into a sunny Eldoret going to highs of 24 and lows of 14. Sunny through Mombasa with highs of 32, and we'll see a sunny Malindi going to highs of 32 as well. Kakamega sunny, as is Kisumu, both going to highs of 28. Looking into Kampala, the sun is up, highs of 27, and Dar es Salaam will be sunny through today, going to highs of 31. Addis Ababa is cloudy at 15, and looking into a sunny Mogadishu going to highs of going to highs of 26. All right, looking into Lagos, it's cloudy at 25 and Johannesburg is sunny at 16. Kinshasa is sunny at 24 and looking into a cloudy London right now at 13. Paris is also cloudy at 13 and it's mostly cloudy in New York at 16, going to highs of 24 and lows of 15. We've not had too difficult a day with traffic this morning. Looking at just a little bit left coming into United Nations Avenue. That road construction means that traffic slows down and the roads are a lot narrower. So just, take it as it comes. You'll get through it at some point. Coming off of survey is also still bumper to bumper through towards the Pangani underpass. Apart from that, we are out of traffic hour. Talk to us through the day and let's know what it looks like. SpiceFM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
012-600 0719 012-600. For the next 20 minutes, let's engage. Should the county government of Meru be disbanded and let all those elected leaders, that's the governor, the deputy governor, and the members of the county assembly, go back to the ballot
and seek new mandate?
From the people. Because this drama, what we saw the first time last year and then what we saw again yesterday, and of course, if it goes to the Senate and it's not upheld, they have vowed they will do it again. Clearly, there's lack of harmony in this one. Should they seek fresh mandate? Joel in Kericho, hello.
Yes, Eric, habari ya asubuhi.
Bwana, ni siku mingi sana tuja kusikia.
Siku mingi sana bana, nimekuwa na shughuli mingi za hapa na pale. Mara tulikuwa tunajiandaa kwa hii na Shujaa Day. Lakini ilikamilika vizuri na tunashukuru.
Very good.
Tuko sasa kwa hii mambo ya nini magavana. Najua kuna swali nini sisi ameuliza mbona gavana wengine huko makaunti zingine hawana maneno ama hawana issue. Unajua ile kitu magavana wengine wanafanya ni nini? Wameweka ma MCS wengi kwa mfuko. Unaona? Kupatia contracts wapoint watu wao, unaona? So ma MCS wametulia kabisa. Lakini sasa huyu mwenyewe amekataa kabisa kuingia kwa hii mambo ya MCS, amekataa. So ile kitu ningeambia tu president asikize wananchi, wale watu wanasema kwa crown, asikie kama anasema nini, kama mainchi, asikie crown unasema nini.
Asikize ground.
Yes. Kwa sauti huko crown inasema nini.
So Joel,
yes,
should the government of Meru be disbanded? Should all of them go and fish
waende wote nyumbani watafute mandate nyingine, wenye wanarudi wawe sawa, wenye watabaki nyumbani wasirudie mambo kama hizo zingine.
Hebu tuambie what's happening in Kericho, sababu tumeona your deputy and your governor and the deputy have been at loggerheads. Sasa wanaanza ku make peace.
Unajua hata mimi imenichanganya.
Shida ni nini?
Ndio waje nitafuta alafu nitakupigia mandi.
Okay.
Asante sana.
Thank you, Joel. Anthony in Mombasa.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
It has been a long time before we speak, eh?
Yes. Uko salama?
Yeah, uko salama.
I hope you're still politically involved.
Just what happened in Taita Taveta County. I think all these MCAs have found it very rough on the ground. They don't know their mandate. They should leave Mama to work and see if at all she's delivering on her promises. Yes. Okay. When election comes, I'm appealing to the Meru community to remove everyone. In fact, to leave Kawira Mwangaza on the job and all these MPs to go home, because this is just a far-fetched politics from big boss.
Okay.
They did not know that Kawira Mwangaza can be a governor and can beat big bosses like the owner of the bar. Yeah. So we are, to me, they should be removed. All these MPs to go home.
Asante. Let's hear from Edwin Washera in Theka. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you all? Ndu, how are you?
I am fine, thank you.
CT.
How are you, sir?
I'm very fine, sir. And you, Eric?
Niko sawa kabisa.
Now, on this issue,
Mm-hmm.
Kawira Mwangaza needs to internalize and acclimatize herself to political management solutions.
Mm-hmm.
She should ask herself, maybe she even has the book about what my friend has said about contracts to the MCAs and whatever, but she has refused to internalize and accept that is the way things work in Kenya. Because we are looking at a bigger crisis going ahead. If the Senate does not uphold the decision and she goes back to Meru, they still continue fighting her.
Yeah.
If the Senate upholds and says she goes home, she comes from one of the smaller parties, so there will be some more crisis still, even if they get a new governor. Lastly, even if she goes to the president and the president sends everybody home, we still have a problem about the constitution of the current IBC. Will there be somebody who will ask to court and say that an election cannot be held in a county like Meru when they don't have the number of commissioners that they need to have? So we are in a total crisis.
Kabisa, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you very much. Kelvia in Trans Nzoia.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
What do you say? Should the government of Meru be disbanded?
Hiyo county inafaa ikuwe disbanded completely. Ifanyiwe overhaul. Because matamkasana na ma-MCAs wamefanya hiyo county ya Nyeri imekuwa kama shamba la wanyama. Because this is the second round. Na siku zote wanasema mtoto akilia mara mbili hapo na sababu. So hiyo county mzima iko disbanded. Kawira na ma-MCAs wote waende nyumbani. Then kila mtu ask what we call a fresh mandate. Hiyo peke yake. Because you can tell us, like what we just had, somebody, you name a road after your husband. For what? So let them go.
Wote. Sawa. Thank you very much, Calvin.
They seek a fresh mandate.
Aye. Victor in Nakuru, how?
I'm fine. Now is Eric and everybody inside there?
Everybody inside here, we are all good.
Thank you. I can hear trying to play ball on the side of Kawira. Either she's very okay. But I think Kawira should know that this politics, this is not church.
Wow.
So,
okay. In as much as she wants to play things clean, on my side, I think she's trying to play things clean. But in politics, the people they're just thugs. They just want to make their way. They're in politics. They need the power to seek whatever they wanted to make their interest. So if the governor is trying to play clean, I think she might not succeed anyway. But in going the Kivula Kibwana way, Kivula Kibwana sought power to offer leadership and services.
Yep.
And maybe should you never bother to lose that seat if they wait for a referendum. If the Makueni,
he didn't mind losing it.
He never, yes, you got me right. And I think Kawira Mwangaza, she needs that power. She might going, overhauling the county government of Meru.
She may lose out. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. Kaka Josh from Mombasa.
Good morning, Latiff.
Good morning.
Yes, first thing first, before we can say we overall the county government of Meru, this thing comes with cost, Latiff, yeah? There's a taxpayer money involved in this. And so before we can even say that let we overall the county government of Meru and we go for fresh elections, then that comes with cost. And so, perhaps if you want to get the deep, the root cause of all this, maybe it's time you get to listen to what is the people of Meru saying, or what is the voice of Meru people, because we can no longer trust these MCAs. We can no longer trust even the members of parliament that we have. In fact, we normally believe that the legislators that we have normally speak the voice of the people, but as things are currently, even the members of parliament alone doesn't speak the voice of the people. And so we cannot pretend that even the MCAs are speaking the voice of the people. If there is a road that is named after an husband in Meru, the people of Meru must know that there is a certain road that is currently named after the husband of Kawira Mwangaza. And so all these things, you got to listen to the people. If you look at how this governor, Her Excellency the governor, came into this position, I'm not siding with her, but you understand that the big wigs in Meru that were laid down for this woman to be the governor. And so you got every reason to even think that these MCAs, there's no legitimacy to all these things that they are saying or the noise they are making. They may be right, they may not be right. And so to understand the root cause in all this, you got to listen to what does the people of Meru say.
So
we no longer trust these MCAs, we no longer trust these members of parliament. Latiff.
Josh, how do we get to understand what the people of Meru say, if not through the ballot?
Latiff, if there's a road named after an husband in Meru, will the people fail to know that?
They know.
They'll know.
But do we know what they say?
And why are we just and is that another thing to do? Yes. Apart from that,
What do we know?
Why are we only getting from MCS? We have many people. We have administrators and then everybody around Meru. Why are we only listening? The voice or the noise is only coming from this MCS. Maybe it's time we got to say that for you to be a governor,
Josh,
it's
possible that you're only hearing from this MCS because that's the institution from where you'd hear that. Collectively, they've got the authority, the legal power to voice it. Citizens.
How true is their voice?
Citizens.
How legit is their voice? How sincere is their voice?
Citizens moved the county assembly to this. There was a petition that was sent by a group of citizens of Meru County to the county assembly. And on the strength of that petition, on the strength of that petition by a group of citizens, the county assembly then began investigating and then brought these proceedings.
Will you have every reason to believe that the group was sponsored by the big whips?
It is
and
possible.
They weren't sincere?
It is possible.
Anything is possible. That's thank you, Ndu. That's what I'm saying. We cannot trust anybody here. The only thing here, the fresh mandate, the only problem I have with fresh mandate comes with the cost, There's a taxpayer money that will be involved. Right now, there's a student in Meru, or there's a citizen, or rather a boy or a girl from Meru that cannot school. So saying, because of it, now we spend another taxpayer's money in doing a fresh mandate over some game that is going around. Really, that will not be sincere.
What is your solution?
All I'm saying, you go to dissect this one outside the county assembly of Meru, and you go to dissect this one without listening to Kawira Mwangaza, without listening to the county assembly. We can spend as little to just listen to.
Practically.
Yes?
What would you suggest we actually do?
How do we do this? How do we do all these things of dissecting outside the assembly? What do we do? Do we commission an opinion poll?
A working party?
What do we do?
Working party that will be an innocent and exclusive body. Yes, opinion poll, listening to the people directly. All I'm saying, how you will do it, I don't know, but get to listen to the people and get to listen to as many from Meru. I just don't want you to listen to this MCS. I don't want you to listen to Kawira Mwangaza.
And you do not want an election.
And you don't want an election.
Do that election after you confirmed all these things. These things are not sincere, Latiff. They may be sincere or not sincere. They may not be sincere because you understand how this woman came to power. And the big wigs that were laid down. And so it's currently said that perhaps this woman is being battled from outside. But again, these things may be true Because again, we understand the women and power. At times it goes into head and they mess up.
All right.
Josh, watch
that
that
statement,
Stop
bro.
the train.
Okay, I withdraw that statement for the sake of Ndu. But all I'm saying, investigate.
Apologize. That's
for
a
everybody.
sexist. That's a sexist statement, and you should actually not utter it.
I understand, City. All I'm saying is power, power get into the head of people differently, yes? So at times, these things that are being said, if they are true about this woman, matters naming husband, sending a relative to go and withdraw money, if those things are true, then you'll say this is sincerely wrong, and perhaps power has just gotten into the deeper bottom of this woman's brain, if all these things are true. So all I'm saying is, if in case it is true...
Goro Thiambo in Nairobi, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. How are you doing?
Very well.
Fine. You're doing well?
Yes.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you so very much indeed. I think Governor Kawira, it's called Kawira, that Kawira thing.
Yes.
Now, Kawira should actually be impeached.
She has been impeached.
Yeah, it should be.
You think she should be convicted?
It should be upheld.
Upheld, yeah.
She should be removed from the office. Whether conviction is the word or upheld or whatever, I may not know. But she should be removed from that position of government, because the current governing policy in Kenya is that people are taken into offices to eat, and they are there to eat collectively. You are seeing it everywhere, even at national government. Those that are corrupt are the ones that are being pardoned. Those that have cases in pending in court are the ones getting appointments. So if Governor Kawira wants to eat alone, then I don't think she has a business to be a governor there. She must be prepared to eat
collectively,
with others.
then she can be the governor.
Oh yes, because that's the driving policy, the current governing policy. I'm not supportive of corrupt administration, but apparently that is the way the governance of this country is taking place. So where you don't hear noise, it means people are eating together. And where there is noise, it means the governor is eating alone. It's just a simple fact. So you must accept, when you are at SpiceFM, why you are doing things together is because you are able to understand yourself within yourself. And if you want to do them your own way, then it's either you alone and the others must gang against you. So in my judgment, I don't support corrupt governance. But if that is the order of the day, really, you must cope up with it. Yes, that's what those people are doing. They are not saying Governor Kawira is governing badly. No, they are simply saying you are eating alone, and all of us were brought here to eat.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Geoffrey, Nairobi.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Very fine.
You. Yes, first is to appreciate that Nakuru has finally come through. I've been desiring to contribute.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much. My contribution is Kawira Mwangaza might have a genuine desire to help the people of Meru, but I think she lacks a good management skills. So I think she needs to really work on her management skills so that she's able to work with MCAs, because I tend to think that the MCAs might not even be desiring her to go home. They just want to have a conversation. I understand the first one did not go through, but they just want to keep her busy so that eventually she gives in and they start working together. So I think that's the main problem, because impeaching her, I don't think it will be a solution, because she will be pinched. The deputy governor takes off the office. What if he decides now to employ his close mates who will not go along with the MCAs? Does it mean that they will also impeach the deputy governor? So I think they need to really work on it.
Okay.
See how they can work together.
Thank you, Geoffrey.
Karibu sana.
Asante for your call. So there are many who are saying, you know what, they need to find a way of working together. They have tried.
So they say.
There has been intervention from the very top.
Yes.
The intervention was told, carry your intervention and go back to where you came from. Out. They've tried to talk to each other. That has not happened, or so we've been told. So, how about you just collapse the house of cards and let's start putting together the thing
challenge
again.
that has been raised here is, as we stand today, there is no body that can conduct an election in any part of this country because we don't have IBC. Because those guys are like elementator. Now they're coming back to Bomas, then they'll go to where to talk about things. Then, by the time we constitute the IBC, we're talking about next year. So although at the same time, if Kawira Mwangaza wrote to the president today seeking the dissolution of her county government, there are certain, timelines within which these things must happen. So it's within a couple of months that the president will be able to come and actually give a decision on, yes, I agree, or no, I disagree. If it goes to yes, I agree, by that time we should have an IEBC. And people can start campaigning. Everybody can just know, okay, Sasa, by the way. As it stands, we are all going back. We are going to give our opinion on what we think about Kawira Mwangaza naming a road after our hero, Murega Baisho. If Murega Baisho is a hero of the Meru people,
what's the problem?
What is it?
It happens to be our spot.
Yeah, I mean, surely.
Remember when we've been having these discussions, there is a view I've put across when all these matters occur. There would be no county government if we didn't have a 2010 constitution. We are getting to understand our constitution and all the regulations therein better and better and better.
This is our constitution in practice.
Exactly. Impeach, it's being exercised.
Yeah.
Go to Senate, it's being exercised.
Yes.
Senate Select Committee on this and the other goes to Kilifi.
Engagement of the county assembly.
All these things. Employing your CECMs on a monthly basis. All these things. We get to understand because they'll end up in court and we will have an interpretation of how this thing should go.
That's very true.
Yes.
That's very true. Well, it's a situation. It's a looking thing in Meru. We'll observe and see what happens. We'll be looking for the leadership of the county assembly to join us for this conversation soon, hopefully next week. Have a lovely day, people. Thank you for tuning in today. It's 10 o'clock.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. Dennis Asato. The European Union has granted Kenya over 11.4 billion shillings to support priority areas of green transition on environmental sustainability and digital inclusion, good governance as well as peace and stability. In a deal signed by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen,